Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nyttel, and welcome back to Nyttel's Lost Book Club. In this episode, we are going to pursue the third boy, this place, this Asagao Academy. And we also have romanced two others before this one. So we are no amateurs at romancing the boys. Anyway, so we romanced these middle two already. Or is that? Let's see. Now it is time to romance Paul.
Paul.
I've decided to ask Paul. I burst into laughter. Paul? The one who constantly leads you into the most embarrassing situations of your life? Hell, it's not just him who does it. But it is. And you're a glutton for punishment. Oh my god. Well, go on.
What?
What? Oh, go on and get your man. Hey, you need now?
Yeah!
Yeah, of course. Things seem louder. Let me turn a couple down actually. That should work. I think I accidentally tuned them to be a little bit louder than before because we had to hear a certain laugh happening. I hit me on the back and practically shoved me towards the door. As I began to leave, my legs turning to jelly. Small pink blobs filled my vision. What? No. I was tossing cherry blossom petals over my head. Don't get somebody to notice you. I beamed at me.
Yeah!
No time to talk, Con. This is gonna be a big day. You're main character, unless you mess up real badly, you'll definitely get a good answer. I've messed up a lot, though. Let's go! With a final shove, I was out the door. Now, where would I find him? Of course we'd find him around. But wait. I wandered around Asagao for a full hour, absolutely clueless as to where I could find a single member of Continue. Continue being Paul, Nick, and Josh. We can see Paul for president. He's only one. There's only one candidate. Trust, Asagao, Academy moving forward. Vote Paul for president. I kind of read both this part of it and this part of it because that part of it is a little tiny compared to this part, but that's besides the point. They were always off somewhere doing something. I was getting down the shenanigans or setting up some kind of plot. Even when someone saw them in the library to cafeteria, they were gone by the time I went to check. It seemed like a wild goose chase. Eventually, I crawled up to the fourth floor of Asagao, acting as if I were checking my locker for something. I rested my head on the cool metal surface. How was a girl to find them?
Hana!
Hey, Hana, are you? Paul stood behind me, visibly surprised. You alright? Yeah, no, I'm fine. What'd you need? You're going to the flower festival, right? It's a good opportunity to get to know Higamana. Small towns like this aren't really my thing, but it's got a good bit of history behind it. Might help you feel more home. I heard Higamana was steeped in culture and traditions, but it seemed like Asagao Academy students were changing the dynamic of the town quite a bit. Almost like a college town or something. Even for the flower festival, it was custom to give someone a flower to ask them to go with you. Clearly nobody did that anymore. I twisted my hands. If Paul was bringing it up, was he asking me, or... I came to ask him, but he was bringing it up in a friendly fashion. Maybe he didn't see me that way. Hi. I think so. Maybe with Maya if she doesn't get a date. You weren't going with anyone? Me neither.
Really?
Really now. My throat tightened. So he was planning on asking me? Was this his way of letting me know I could ask if I was interested, or Was he making casual conversation?
Well,
Yep, I'm not too bummed about it though. I've been every year and it doesn't usually turn out well. For the girl at least. I have a great time. Eh? Why is that? No, actually no. Maybe it was the wrong person, or maybe I had something stuck in my teeth. Every year? I had no idea what he was trying to accomplish. Well, I came here to ask him to the vessel. Might as well try. Weird. Error? Um, actually, now that you brought it up, I thought it might be cool if I could go with you this year. I winced. There it was. I did it. Good job, huh? Paul seemed visibly taken aback, even a bit confused.
really?
You know, if I told you about the last ones I went to?
Yeah.
Of course, you've been really nice to me since I got here. I wanted to make friends with everyone primarily because of you. It mean a lot to me to attend my first flower festival with you. And also, thanks for the ice cream on my shirt. Wait, what? In that case, of course I'll go. I didn't know you rated my stupid little acts of kindness so highly. Especially considering they were usually to make up for unintentional harm. I hope it goes better than the last few years did. Don't worry, I'm sure it will.
Alright.
Right, so we'll pick you up tomorrow night? Sounds fine to me. Wait, did he say we? I looked at his eager eyes and bright smile. Nah, it was probably a slip of the tongue.
See ya.
See you then. I woke up late the next morning, the day of Flower Festival. I was buzzing with anticipation because that took me forever to wake up. Now it was almost noon. I rubbed my eyes and I rose.
Hana.
Hey there, sleepyhead. Good morning. You slept even earlier than I did. That's impressive, Hana. Time for not coffee today, but I have some Red Bull. Go get wings. Sat up in bed and something on the edge of my desk caught my eye.
Hey.
What's that?
I don't know.
Oh, that letter for you came in the mail this morning, so I just said it. I scrambled out of bed and into my desk chair, ripping open the letter. Oh, jeez, calm down, it's not going anywhere. Turning away from her, I started to read. Little Blossom, how have you been doing these past few weeks? I'm sorry I haven't found the time to write. Your pa has been working hard lately, and I seem to go right to sleep when I get home. I know things are difficult for you here, and I hope that you're having a better time where you are now. It isn't the same without you here. I miss the cheeriness, watching TV with you, and most of all your pink hair bobbing around the kitchen. Hana, I know you feel bad about the pressure you're supposed to be putting on me, but don't. I do this because I love you. There is nothing I want more in this world than your happiness. I miss you, Hana. Be strong. Your Papa. My hands trembled. Tears filled my eyes. I hadn't written to him since arriving in Asagao. Many times a day as he crossed my mind, I'd just been busy with other things. He must be worried sick, and from the sound of things, he was also depressed. I miss my father. I miss my home. I miss helping him. If I wasn't around to cook him breakfast, he almost never ate. He kept saying it was fine, but he was getting older. Without Mom there to take care of him. Hana, are you okay? I wiped my eyes on my sleeve. Yeah, I'm fine. I miss my dad. I picked up a pencil and paper and began to write, trying hard to block out the tears. Eventually my turn to her own work and let me be. Dad, doing really great here. This has been the best change of my life. I have a best friend and I might join a club. I even have a date. Or several. I don't know yet. Sacrificed so much to bring me here. I know I hardly gave any choice with the way things are going. I was spoiled and ungrateful, but you always do whatever is necessary for me. I miss you so much, but thank you for those a huge sacrifice. Please eat well and take care of yourself. Remember 2 glasses of water in the morning and 1 before bed. Have breakfast. Scrambled eggs are easy to make. Draw a smiley face on my ketchup just like I would if I was there. Last time we went through that, so make sure you do it. I miss you. Tell Mom happy birthday. Well, that was depressing. I chuckled as he watched me nervously adjust my hair in front of the mirror.
Aww.
Looks like Mai's also getting ready for flower festival. Well then. Anna, he looks so cute. You have nothing to worry about. I guess so, but I've never been on a date before, so... And you pick Paul as your first. She snorted, applying an extra dash of gloss to her lips. He's nice and reliable. Even if things get really crazy when he's around, I feel like I can always count on him to make things better. Well, he's no Jared, but I wish you luck. I'm not gonna rename the name of the stream to not Jared's route. You know. If you've fallen for our president, there's no way I'm gonna hold you back. Fallen? She winked at me. I could use a good cover of the Rasmus. No, they're going with him platonically?
Bingo.
I thought so. She hummed happily to herself. What was that hum?
Bingo.
I think this is a sound effect. Whatever. We'll come back to that place.
Bingo.
This one here. And I'll check it out later. I moved the save file that was here to the next one, so we don't have to worry about it. Anyway. Did Paul know I intended to be a date? I twisted my yukata in my hands and glanced out her window. The lights of the festival glistened in the distance. Small groups of people traveled the grounds towards it. Of course he knew it was a date. Paul wasn't stupid. Sure, he was a boy, but he must have picked up on it. Jesus. Oh, I think I see him coming. Flew to the mirror, double checked myself just once, still decent enough, and dashed to the door. You better tell me everything when you get back. I will, promise. And with that, I was out the door. I shuffled nervously down the hallway. It was difficult to walk my yukata. The backward movement of my legs and my sandals tried to jump off my feet at every turn. I made it to the first floor and pushed open the door nervously.
Whoa!
Oh, right. I should probably turn that down a hair lower. There we go. Hana!
Hello.
Guys! Hana, you look
Hey!
amazing. Really good. Josh shot Nick a glare, but Nick didn't seem to notice. Thanks, fancy meeting you here? Paul chuckled. It'll be nice to go as a group for once. These two are more than up for spending the festival with you. Oh no. I don't know what he's talking about. Josh kicked the ground. Nick rubbed his neck sheepishly. I swallowed. Yeah, this'll be fun. I, was looking forward to it all day. My throat tightened. Smile, huh? Smile. This is fine, too. I didn't realize it was a date. Who cared? I'll still spend the festival with him and with Josh and Nick besides.
Yeah.
Yeah, this'll be fun. So where are we going? Wanna take you to the game booth. There's a stall that sells great cakes. Well, there's a bonfire every year. Three stopped and stared at each other. Why not just do everything? I bit my lip. I told me that at the very end of the festival, everyone gathered around the bonfire to celebrate a traditional flower blooming dance. Something that was specific to Higginbana. Sounds fascinating and romantic, and that was what I wanted to do most of all. I looked from Nick to Paul to Josh, and my heart sunk. There was no way it was going to be possible out of all of them. No, for good of this festival, it was my sworn duty to tucker them out before the dance came to pass. Tapped my chin, staring straight at them. Bring it on! Three separate hands grabbed my wrist, and like that, I was dragged across the campus into the neighboring fields of Higginbana. Higginbana really was a nice, quaint little town. Primarily the home of the families who owned farms responsible for Asagao's fresh food supply and a healthy population of retirees. There was no need to stir up trouble or have gangs roam the streets. If anything, judging from the way townspeople passed from group to group, the most deadly thing they ever did was gossip and eat fried cheesecake. See, they baked the flowers into the cakes and it's totally edible and safe and just the neatest thing if you ask me. Nick giggled, shooting a look at Paul. He's excited about the flower cakes, isn't it cute?
Yeah!
Maybe it's the Joshua coming out in him. Is it so hard to believe I can find cakes worth eating? There has to be some kind of good in the world, and I'm almost entirely certain these flower cakes are it. Oh yeah, sure, definitely, I believe you. Josh has found the light. Josh huffed, crossing his arms. You guys are the real reason I'm like this. I giggled. But your grumpy is exactly what everyone knows about you. That's why they tease you so much. Yeah, well, I mean... Fun fact, he didn't record any lines for this game. Others did. I guess so. That isn't that bad, is it? There are worse things. He paused at the entrance to his sacred cake stall and turned to me. What do you want? Take anything off the menu, I'll get it for you.
Really?
Really? Really? I think both of them.
Huh.
You're way more stingy than this, Josh. In fact, you still owe me for that coffee 3 weeks ago. Only you would hold that against me. Can I try a green tea sacred cake? Josh pursed his lips in order from the old lady at the stall. She smiled kindly at me, and my heart squeezed. She reminded me a little of my mom. She held the cake with a trembling hand, and Josh gently took it. When he paid her, she looked up at him in surprise, put a finger to his lips, shook his head, then he handed my cake to me. Should you just... Nope, I didn't. I did nothing. But as we left the stall, the old woman waved joyously at us. The whole time, she hadn't said a word. Bit into the crumbling cake in my palm. Oh! The cake melted into my mouth, leaving behind a soft perfume and a robust herbal taste. It had a very earthy, very natural feel, but in a way that was sweet and delicious as opposed to disgustingly healthy. Once a year. You can only get this once a year. It's tradition for me. Are you done? Wanna go play the games? Josh frowned but said nothing. This time, Nick took the place at my side, skipping happily down the lanes. How any of the boys knew where to go to find what they wanted was beyond me. Every stall looked the same, and the savory smells floating through the air didn't help my distracted mind. Here we are. Nick rounded a corner and I balked. Crane games?
Right?
Right, they're the best. Nick clapped with glee and pulled out his wallet. I marveled at the fact that the tiny village Hingbah somehow managed to gather together enough power strips for an entire block of crane games on the outskirts of town. He approached a large pink number and pulled out several coins. Okay, Anna, I'm gonna need your absolute help. This one's timer goes a little fast, so you need to stand inside a machine and tell me how far back to push the crane to get that little puppy there. He pointed at a brown, confused-looking puppy. Can't you see it yourself?
Well...
But the glass is warped, so you can't accurately tell your positioning. It's the oldest trick in the book. I nodded, secretly wondering whether Nick had a gambling habit, and squeezed between the pink machine and another, much hotter red one. Go! Nick pushed the crane forward and to the left, face almost pressed into the glass. Where am I? Go right a bit more. Here? Further. Here? Wait, go back a little bit. We're almost out of... The crane descended, grabbing the lonely puppy's torso. You got time. They got it. No, watch. The crane lifted up and the weight of the puppy's giant head pulled him out of the claw. The claw floated back to the hole, dropping nothing as our prize. Well, if you two are jumped as a riveting performance... Again!
Really?
What?
Yeah!
That's the spirit, Hana. In the end, it took Nick $7 to pull that little puppy out of the crane.
Yay!
When it finally dropped into the hole, adrenaline shot through my body and I screamed like a banshee, pulling Nick into a giant hug. She's a stupid puppy.
Anna,
won it for you.
What?
What? No, I couldn't. I couldn't have won it without you. Just take it. He shoved it into my hands. It took several steps away, taking a sudden but intense interest in a tiny flower on the side of the road.
all right.
Right, to the bonfire then? Bonfire was huge, much bigger than I ever expected. Apparently the whole town gathered together in the weeks before the festival, selecting trees that had already died or were in perilous, potentially harmful position. Cut them down, then form this immense fire. Very immense indeed. I stepped up to it, warming my hands. Now that we were no longer near the stalls, bonfire and stalls were a moderate distance away from each other so as not to potentially kill people, the night chill enclosed us. It was nice to have fire like a force field, beating the chill back. I see you also enjoy bonfires.
Yeah.
Of course, who doesn't enjoy seeing the awesome, malicious power of fire? Well,
Yeah.
we are going to take that screenshot, because that is totally an accurate statement. I hate the smell of smoke. Shut up, Josh. I wasn't sure what we were supposed to do by the fire, but seeing Paul hadn't wanted to do anything. Instead, we stood in a circle talking about the school, the local legend, anything that popped into our heads. At some point, Josh and Nick found sticks on the ground and started sword fighting, making laser noises with their mouths. Paul and I watched from afar. Not going to join them? Not this time. Their duels are a long-running grudge. There's no way I'm getting involved in that. The battle grew more and more heated. Nick broke Josh's stick, and Josh found a much longer, sturdier one, almost like a mini-log. No longer able to defend himself, Nick acrobatically dodged the stick with a series of complicated flips and twists that seemed like it should have made it easier for Josh to hit him than harder, but okay, whatever worked. It wasn't until Nick scurried dirt off the ground into Josh's eyes that I felt the need to step in. Ow! What the fuck, Nick? Okay guys, let's calm down here. Josh hurled his mini-log blindly towards the sound of my voice. I shrieked. Paul grabbed me, yanked me out of the way so that instead of hitting me, it hit the edge of the bonfire and was set alight. Oh my god, I'm going blind. Why did... The flames trailed down the log onto the ground where the dry grass started to pick it up. Paul! Fire! Oh my god, fire! Mr. Saitomo, the fourth-year teacher, showed up out of nowhere with a leather jacket and started beating the flames with it. At some point, Miss Shizuka ran up and kicked the log aside so it wasn't tracking more flames from the bonfire. Between Mr. Saitomo's jacket flailing and Miss Shizuka's stomping, the fire was quickly put out. I waved the smoke away from my face, coughing up a storm. Anna, boys. Paul held up his hands in surrender. Understood, we're leaving. Nick pulled Josh up by his arm, apologizing softly for getting carried away, and the other four of us head back to campus. Nobody seemed particularly bothered by nearly burning down an entire festival, possibly killing hundreds of people. Instead, we stood around in a circle, joking quietly with each other about stupid things. Time passed, my yawns became more and more frequent. Seeing this, Paul clapped his hands together. I think it's about time we head back, don't you guys? Wrapped up an argument about love triangles and modern romances. I didn't think Nick and Josh even heard him, but the lower half of their bodies turned and walked them to Bluebell House, their eyes never leaving each other's faces. I expected Paul to follow, but instead he dawdled at my side, staring up at the stars. Are you gonna head back in with them? Well, while we were going through the festival, it occurred to me that maybe, perhaps, you hadn't wanted me to bring them with me. I laughed half-heartedly and Paul snapped. Called it again, didn't I? No. I mean, I had fun anyways. Even if this wasn't the first date I'd thought it'd be. I felt stupid for getting so worked up, for getting Mai so worked up, but as flower festivals went, this was certainly one of the better ones I've had. I mean, it was the only one, but... Drums started beating in the distance. Bonfire flickered more than usual. When I looked up, saw people gather around it, gangs of traditional dance and swing. I watched them enviously. There was no way I was going back there now, not after nearly burning down the festival, but that didn't stop me from wanting to join in. Suddenly, a hand wrapped around my waist, another lifting my arm. Dance! This should be the canon one instead of Jared's. Anyway! Paul? Paul chuckled softly, swaying to the beat of the song. It seemed like this was something you wanted to do. Why am I reading Han's words? This seemed like this was something you wanted to do, was it right? I nodded, blushing horribly. See? His hand was warm in mine. It was incredibly hard not to think about how physically close we were to each other. Not just our faces, but our whole bodies. I had never been so close to a man before. Gingerly, I lifted a hand to his shoulder. He smiled when I touched him, gazing deeply into my eyes. Dots. I looked away. What were these people supposed to do when they were dancing with an attractive person? Just stare at them? It was way too close for comfort. I know that feeling, Hana. Dancing is awkward.
Nick and Josh are nice.
I winced. I threw out the first thing that popped into my mind, desperate for something to allay the sudden tension, but if anything, it made it worse. Paul chuckled again. Yeah, we've been together for years at this point. They're almost like brothers to me.
Really?
We met in film club back in elementary school.
Your elementary school had a film club?
Yes? He answered a question with such genuine confusion that I instantly shut up. Different worlds. We live in different worlds. Well, first Nick and Josh were friends. I knew them, but we didn't hang out much. In middle school, Nick and I ended up working on a project together, and the three of us and my friend Don, we were inseparable. This is just Dom, but they couldn't use his likeness, so they just used Don.
Don?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were really close. We made this plan that all four of us would attend Asagao together, and he got in, but... Long story short, his parents refused to send him. Thought we were bad influences, I guess. Paul shrugged, my hand raising up his shoulders. But then we all decided to sit together. We wanted to do some film stuff here, but Asagao really lacks support for clubs. That was one of the reasons I wanted to become class president. Right now, they can change rules for clubs without a backward glance, and clubs have to provide their own funding. Apparently, because our parents are rich, Asagao doesn't have to support our extracurricular needs. Paul rolled his eyes. In the meantime, we started Continue in the newspaper and use it for everything, really. We did right up till the election last year. Now it's more functional and fun, but I guess it's just how things go. So, you guys really want to work with film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's our big passion. Or, I guess we have lots of passions, but that's the big one. That's one of the reasons why the student council presidency is important to me. Paul jerked his head to the side, followed his gaze while he was staring out into the darkness.
Paul.
Paul? The drums stopped. The song's over. I realized that the darkness he was looking at was where the bonfire once stood. They put it out. The festival was over. Paul and I stepped away from each other, and suddenly the cold night air surrounded me. I shivered.
Hey.
You get inside. Don't want to catch a cold. I nodded.
Thank you for this. I don't think you pulled it this year.
Paul laughed.
Really?
Really? Well, then I'm glad. One out of four ain't so bad, is it? I shook my head, smiling. He shooed me inside. That would be a very different Meatloaf song if it was 1 out of 4 ain't bad. Ugh. That's horrifying, actually. Alright, so maybe the Flower Festival wasn't exactly what I thought it would be. Maybe it wasn't my first date, but I had my first dance with a guy and I had a wonderful time. As I put Nick's plush puppy on my desk, I smiled. And as I digested Josh's tea cake, I could settle for that. Number 2. Everyone's smiling. Just all of continue. Maya and I were heading up to our classroom early the next morning when I saw Paul stop in the hallway staring at the wall. At the sight of him, my heart fluttered.
Oh, you love, I see you're twerking on the bathroom door, but okay.
Anna? I followed my gaze.
Ooh, I see how this is. Well, don't mind me, I'll be waiting for you in class.
He gave me a wink and a nudge towards Paul.
Why, I told you it wasn't like that, it was a group date.
Kind of, except for that bit at the end.
See you later.
He disappeared through the staircase door, and I was left staring at the back of Paul's neck.
Hey!
Hey, Paul.
Paul jumped and turned around.
Hey.
Hey, Anna. He sighed and turned back to the wall.
Are you okay? You don't seem very happy.
Look. I looked over his shoulder at what was on the wall. A neon blue poster proudly proclaimed Space Hamster for President. Small captions underneath running garish highlighter yellow. Together we'll rocket into space.
What?
What?
Jeff's running for president. Things aren't looking good. Jeff as president? What would ever possess him to think that was a good idea? Not that Jeff wasn't a great guy. I mean, in all my time knowing him, I had no reason to suggest he wasn't. It was just that, well, a position of personal responsibility over a large segment of the student population, several of which were complete idiots, the myriad valid perspectives and differing opinions he had to entertain while making decisions. It just didn't make any sense.
You'll be able to beat him easily, right? I mean, you're outgoing, charismatic, funny. You've got all the qualities of a good leader, and I feel like you're a natural politician.
Politician. Paul chuckled. Thanks for saying that, but I don't think I can take this lightly. Jeff is a formidable opponent. He might not look it, but he's got a calming presence. When a group of people are confused, they look to him for guidance. He strongly appeals to the youth of this generation.
This generation? You're talking like you're way older than us.
Anyway, I'll definitely have to step up my game if I want to win. Just pulling up posters won't be enough. It looks like this is going to be a long battle.
Battle for the hearts and minds of the people. How cool.
I beamed at him and he cocked an eyebrow. Are you teasing me?
What, me? No, I'm just, Okay, I'm teasing you a little bit, but I also think it's pretty cool. I never be able to run for president. I'm always a person in the background doing the weird things like organizing schedules and filing papers. I never be able to stand in front of a crowd and try to get them to trust me. That takes some gusto.
Seriously?
Knowing you, this will be a competition to look forward to.
Ah. He chuckled and rustled my hair.
Hey.
Had it back down, glaring at him. Thanks, Hana. You cheered me up. You should head to class, though. Can't have you missing class on my account.
Okay, try not to worry too much about it.
I will. I waved him as I left, but just before I reached the stairwell, I glanced back at him. He was still staring at the poster, rubbing his neck as though he had a headache. I hoped he wasn't going to stress out about it too much. As soon as I took a seat, Miller's shock of red hair and green eyes obstructed my view.
Hannah.
So tell me, how'd it go?
Uh-huh.
There was nothing romantic, he was worried about Jeffrey. I said so.
As I sounded Jeff's name, Ian glanced at us from across the room. I instantly shut up.
What?
Jeff's running for president, why on earth would we do that?
Comic Sans ellipses.
Let's not talk about this now. The important thing is you're overthinking things. I sighed and immediately perked back up. Fine, if you say so. Still think there's some feelings. Think what you want, you're delusional. We returned to our seats and I got myself ready for class, thinking all the while. Delusional. Yes, I was being delusional. Delusion. I was laying awake in bed that night, for some reason unable to fall asleep. Almost like this sleep monster is watching me. It was one of those times where, no matter what I did, something was wrong. It was hot, it was cold, my pajamas were restrictive. I trailed the rungs of my bed above me with my toes, waiting for a sleep fairy to magically whisk me to her land of slumber. And there came a knock on our door. It was a soft knock, a secretive one, and I sat up quietly, unsure whether I heard it. No, there it was again. I soon quietly padded over to the door, doing my very best not to wake my. I pulled open the door a hair, peeking out to see who it was. An excited Paul stood in the doorway, drumming his hands on his pants like a kid about to go on a roller coaster. I opened the door fully.
Paul.
Oh, what are you doing here? You're going to be in so much trouble if you find out about this.
Hey.
Anna. Paul grabbed my hands and held them to his chest, eyes glistening. I know how I'm going to beat Jeff, and you're going to help me. What? He released my hands and began pacing the narrow space in front of my doorway. I pulled the door closed so as not to wake my. It seemed like this could take a while. Nick, Josh, and I are all fantastic people. This is something that simply cannot be argued.
Oh, I know that.
We're charismatic, charming, destructive. We've got a nice triple hit combo with my guidance. Nick's positive humor, Josh's dour but hilarious perspective. We're everything people want in friends, but we're not what people want in a leader. Not yet. We need a strategist, a social center, a female perspective. Wait, what? Where could we find these things? How many people could we trust enough to handle our delicate humor, who wouldn't turn on us the first time we wreaked havoc upon their lives? He whirled to face me, an outstretched finger at my throat.
Oh, no.
That's where you come in. Oh, I don't know. You're kind, you're contemplative, contemplative. Ugh, English is not good today. You're intelligent. You understand the female perspective, and you bring a new view of life at Asagao we couldn't share. That, and you're mysterious. A transfer student suddenly appearing at school. A girl with pink hair and acts as the school's most popular and influential men. I don't know how you did it, but you've got everyone's eyes on you. My shoulders hunched. Tried to ease them away from my ears. I didn't know about that. Moreover, I didn't want that. I didn't want people's eyes on me. Oh, I think you're misunderstanding. I'm not any of those things. I'm gonna do something real quick on which end here. There. That should be running a hair better now. Love to help out for your campaign, but I can't be part of the team. I'd be in the spotlight. I'd be responsible. Still new here. It's too much pressure, too much stress. What if I messed up and really hurt somebody? What if I made life worse for people who wasted their time? Too much to handle, I can't. Paul grinned.
I know, right?
That's exactly why we need you, Hana. Don't you see? We need you to level us out. We are altogether too quick to make decisions, too sure of ourselves. I envisioned a flawless, unopposed victory. Even when Jess first told me he was running, I didn't expect him to gain a following. But today, as I was looking at his posters, I realized two things. First, he's serious about running. And second, the student body really feels like he could make a difference. More of a difference than I did this past year. He cast his eyes to the floor for an instant, momentarily sad. I wanted to ask why, but he was already back at it. So, will you join me? With you, I really think we can do it. Hi.
One choice.
I have to think about it. I have no idea how you feel about it right now.
Paul's face fell for a second, then instantly brightened again.
All right.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is the caution and foresight we as a team require.
Oh, keep your voice down, you'll cause a scandal.
He cleared his throat, glancing nervously up and down the hall. Right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing your answer. Did you want to know anything else before I left?
Actually,
There was a lot to consider here. If I joined, what would I be doing? Trailing after them and cleaning up their messes? Baking flyers and the like? Cheering them on? Providing consultations? And there was something else I wanted to know. Something that I wasn't sure I had the courage to ask. Was it just for the campaign that you wanted my help? Or was there something more behind it? We'd be able to spend a lot of time together after all. Alright. Feel like the most important question to be asking here is what exactly would Hana be doing? While I feel like Paul can go into excruciating detail about what one needs to do, I also feel like that he's been doing a lot of idealistic stuff, so I don't think "but why'd you pick me specifically" is going to be a good response to that, because he might go on to talk about more of the ideal stuff. So I kind of want to get a straight answer out of him. So I'm going to ask him, what would my duties be? Good question, is expected of our Hana.
I'm not your Hana.
Yet. Oh! He grinned even though I knew he meant it platonically and my heart skipped a beat. Anyway, you'd help us organize fundraisers and ways of reaching the student body, as well as help us decide our campaign strategy and counter any moves put forth by our opponent. Most of all, you'd have to keep us rational. Make sure we don't let our emotions get the best of us if something happens. Can you do that?
Well, I'll give it some thought.
Paul nodded and clapped me on the back. I shivered. Thanks, Hana. I look forward to hearing what you have to say soon.
Leave already! More than just your campaign will be in trouble if you get caught here.
All right, see ya.
Right. Eugenie, Hana, and sweet dreams. I nodded as I watched him stealthily jog down the hall and out of sight. Metal Gear Paul more. I sighed. No doubt working on a campaign would be fun, and I would get to spend a lot of time with Paul. But was I really okay with torturing myself by hanging around a guy who clearly wasn't interested, and did I face my fears of being in the public's eye? I crawled into bed, finally tired enough to sleep. One thing was for sure, I needed Mai's opinion.
Sounds perfect to me, Hana.
Mai and I sat at her desk before class the next day. I quietly told her about Paul's midnight visit, and Mai, at first sacked about the potential for scandalous romance, quickly sobered.
We're looking for a way to make more friends, right?
Maybe this is a thing to do.
I guess so.
I popped a piece of gum into her mouth, the school newspaper open on her desk.
Just that. I don't know if I'm strong enough to be able to handle that. It's clear that he's not interested in me, and I don't want to spend more time with him.
Bingo.
Maybe you'll get over him by spending more time with him. Sometimes that happens, you know. They seem great until you spend all your time with them.
Really?
You think? Well, let's just say I see this as more likely in his case.
I drummed my fingers on the desk.
Maybe I could at least learn to see him as a friend while on council. Probably. Just a crush, after all. Get over it when I find someone else I'm interested in.
I smiled at Mai, but she didn't even notice.
Why, you're even listening to me?
Hana, you should read this. Tossed me the newspaper. Continue news column blurred off the page of the headline, Secret Weapon. My hands started to sweat as I read the words. Current class president, one-third of the writing team for the Continue column, Paul Ritchie, has revealed he has a secret weapon in store for this year's student council elections. The fight is tough this time around, Richie was quoted saying. So I looked closely at our weaknesses and decided to enlist a bit of outside help. Students have professed worry over the balance of our team in more ways than one. I'm happy to announce that it should ease their minds. Richie declined further questions, saying only, you'll meet her when the time comes. I put the newspaper down, watching Mai.
No wonder everyone's reading it this morning. I bet half of them think he's got a girlfriend. Oh no.
I put my head in my hands. I patted me on the back, nodding sadly.
There's no way I can refuse now. Now he's already done this. Unless he has someone else in mind.
Like who? Mimi?
How can you do something like this? That's so manipulative.
Mai's hand flew off my back and her eyes darted towards the door. Maybe you should tell him that yourself. Oh god. No. Paul entered her classroom, glancing around it quickly. When he saw me, he grinned and darted over. Oh no.
No.
There you are, my dear. Oh boy, he was not helping the situation.
Oh, how did you put this in the paper? Never told you yes?
Right, yeah, about that.
I kind of told Nick and Josh to get started on the article right before I went to talk to you. And see, the newspaper gets sent to the printers at midnight, and once it's sent, we can't make changes without paying for it out of pocket. So by the time I got back, it was already in the paper. He grew uncertainly, and I resisted the urge to smack his arm. What are you going to do if I say no?
You're gonna say no?
A ripple of whispers shot through the classroom. I glanced around and suddenly noticed everyone's eyes on me and Paul.
Of course I should have known. I lowered my voice to a whisper, trying to look as casual and uninvolved as possible. Any senior visit the classroom in the morning specifically to see me? Heck, even most couples chose to be outside so as not to draw attention. This was practically a declaration of intent to date, even if I knew Paul didn't see it that way. Was he really so thoughtless, or did he just not see me in that way so it never occurred to him others might feel we could be a couple? Either option depressed me.
Look, we're making a scene. We should meet up after school to talk about it.
Alright.
Great idea, Hana. If I can't convince you then, you're free to say no, but where should we meet? He stroked his chin thoughtfully, then snapped his fingers.
Yeah.
I got it. I owe you an ice cream cone to make up for the one that I ruined, so how about that? As our conversation grew quieter, students crowded closer. Mimi was almost right behind Paul with eyes of a devil. Mimi can go stay in her lane. Stay in your lane. An ice cream date?
Deal, so I'll meet you there after class. See, go, you should get going. The bell will ring any minute.
Hey, you're right. He tousled my hair affectionately, and I instinctively shoved his arm away from me.
See ya.
See you then, Hana. He left the room and I collapsed onto my chair. Gradually, the stillness in the class returned to its regular pre-lesson commotion, and thank you for the lurk, Hunter. You're great. You're very supportive. I'm glad you're here. Though dark looks still shot me like curses. I whistled. Way to go, Hana. You're killing it. I know you said you didn't want to be in the spotlight, but looks like you'll be there whether you want it or not. Sighed and threw my head down on my desk. Today was just not my day. After class, I said goodbye to mine and made my way to the cafeteria, feet dragging like blocks of ice and curses! For some reason, this slow trek felt like a death march. Part of me was saying goodbye to something. I watched the wind in the trees, smiled at the stressed faces of passing students. Yes, goodbye. It was goodbye to life as I knew it. Thanks to Paul, everything was going to change. I had a good run, didn't I? By the time I got to the shop, Paul was waiting for me, along with a swarm of curious onlookers, all pretending to be there for food or some other activity. Some other activity. She's probably here for other activity too. They peered from behind their notebooks, strolled through the aisles of the school shop.
Eyes strained to see past bags of chips and wrapped onigiri to Paul and me.
Hana!
Hey, Hana, glad you could make it. Yeah, me too. Paul led the way to the counter, where he ordered 2 vanilla ice cream cones with a dazzling smile. Then, after a brief pause, he looked at me. Wait, please cover one of those cones in sprinkles.
Yay!
Sprinkles! The cafeteria worker heard my cry and chuckled. When Paul received the cones, one was so drenched in sprinkles he couldn't see the vanilla. I bounced excitedly on my heels. Careful not to drop this one. I'm not one who should be worried about that. Ice cream cones in hand, Paul led us away from the usual Norman Boots club table into a table next to the window. We sat and soaked in the sunlight. It was a small change, but I'd never seen a cafeteria from this angle. It made it feel special. So, Paul bit the tip off his ice cream and looked at me. I'm terrible at small talk when something is on my mind, so we'll skip it. Tell me how I can convince you to join the campaign. I slurped my ice cream, then chewed it thoughtfully. Sprinkles would definitely make my mouth look like a rainbow carnival. Note to self, try not to smile. What would make me feel comfortable joining the campaign? Kicked my feet aimlessly under the table, gazing out the window. The temptation of spending time with Paul, exactly as we were now, was already something in his favor, but I really had no confidence I could be of any help. I barely knew Asagao, and people didn't care about me the way Paul seemed to think they did. Well, maybe now they do. But it was not a positive association, not for the girls anyway. I didn't know most things about how the student government worked, or how it helped the school, or what the needs were. Was it even a position that could affect change? Paul was watching me carefully, his breath held. As I gazed into his face, I realized I was missing a key component of the campaign. Who do you want to be president?
Well...
Ah. Paul tapped his nose as if I asked the question. See, I'm not some great philanthropist or anything. I don't think I can claim to have an unabashed, indiscriminate desire to do whatever I can to make the world a better place. When it came down to it, if I had to choose between taking care of my friends or taking care of strangers, I picked my friends first. I'm compassionate, but I'm not a martyr. Let's get that out of the way first. He furrowed his brow, rolling his neck out. This question is so hard. Every time I answer it differently. It's just that it matters so much. I don't know if I can give one answer that comes close to how I feel about it. Okay. He set his hand down on the table, tapping it rhythmically as he voiced his thoughts. So let's say you want to make some kind of difference. You have the whole entire world to go about doing that in, right? There's lots of stuff going on everywhere. Climate change, poverty, the literacy rate, water access. There's so much one person can do, but one person can't do all of it. You have to pick and choose your battles. Right now, my world is a lot smaller. He drew a tiny circle on the table. Right now, my world is Asagao and Norman Boots Club. And while I was here years prior, I'd walk around and see how ineffectual our student government was, like it was just a title. The people who ran it got perks, like skipping class, but they didn't feel any responsibility to the student body. If you've noticed, all cultural activities are put on by the students of their own choosing. Aaron's fashion show, John's play. And there was this major communication gap between teachers and students. Students were literally going mad of stress. Mr. McPasta used to sleep for only 4 hours a night. He was working so hard dealing with all of us. It wasn't like I was looking for a way to make the world better or anything. I just looked around and thought, hey, this isn't right. And I talked to Nick and Josh, and we came up with all these ideas for how it could be better. We're sitting there in our room, congratulating ourselves for having figured out all these solutions, feeling really good about it and everything, and finally one of us just goes, why don't we actually do it then? Paul leaned back, his hand sliding to his lap. He seemed relieved. So we did it. That's how it happened. Wait, what was the question again? I pointed silently to the ice cream cone he'd set on the table, which was now forming a puddle on the laminate surface. Paul cursed and started licking around the cone, bent down like a dog. Curses. I threw some napkins on the table, then bit into my cone, watching him lap up the vanilla. This was our student council president. I bit into the cone again. So undignified half the time, so unintentionally destructive, so gung-ho that he didn't even notice how his failures messed with the rest of us. I sighed and popped the rest of the cone into my mouth. Paul was drinking the vanilla out of his increasingly soggy cone, our conversation forgotten. I placed my hands on the table. I'll do it.
What?
What? You will? You don't even know what my platform is yet. I mean, I haven't really made it, but... It's fine. I'll do it. I want to help you. Paul raised an eyebrow at me, clearly confused about my sudden change of heart. I shook my head. I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, good. Great. In that case, we're planning to have a meeting tomorrow during lunch to get a strategy going. I'll be there. I smiled sadly at him. Are you sure you're okay? You don't really seem happy about this. I drove my fingers against the table, wondering how to explain what just happened. Have you ever just kind of had something drop in your lap that you could turn away no matter how you felt about it? I don't think so. I shrugged. It's hard to explain, but there was no way I could refuse. I need to be on this campaign with you. I just do. Paul stared at me in shock. That small smirk quirked his lips. Well, well, I knew there was something special about you. He was clearly impressed with me, and it pricked me. I scanned the cafeteria, noting the people hovering just out of earshot. I think I'm gonna head out. Okay, I'll walk you back. Paul gathered up the soggy napkins and stood, but I held out my hand. Please don't. Anna? I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I left him standing there in the cafeteria, quickly running through the hovering people and out into the sunshine, gasping for air. The sun was setting. That conversation must have taken longer than I thought. I jogged back to the dorms, trying hard not to think about what happened, trying very hard to ignore the sinking feeling that hit my stomach as I listened to him speak, but there was nothing for it. The damage was done. I walked into my room, hoping desperately Maya would be at practice or busy or something, but...
Hana!
no. You have to tell me everything. How'd it go? Is he into you? Are you on the campaign? Man, you're gonna kick total ass. I just know it. I knew you were destined for greatness. I grabbed my hand, jumping up and down. I avoided her eyes.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's wrong with you? I threw down my bag next to my desk and tried to take off my shoes with my feet. One came off easily, but the other, the right one, caught at my ankle, just like it always did. I tied the laces too tight once. I never bothered to fix them when I put them on, so it always happened when I went to take them off, and now I was standing there like a dilapidated penguin. All I wanted was this stupid shoe off. I threw myself onto the floor and ripped the shoe off my hands. I watched me in silence. Put my head in my hands, covering my face, breathing deeply. Trying hard not to let it show. Trying very hard not to let it show. Anna, are you okay? I shook my head slowly. Did you join me? Didn't want to?
What a jerk!
Or did he do something bad to you again? I wiped my face with a hand. No, this is a problem. I took a deep breath again, not wanting to talk while I was crying, but it was too late. That sentence opened the floodgates, and I started sobbing on the floor. What happened then? I flew to my side, rubbing my back. Whatever happened, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure you didn't mean it, or you'll do great, or... I buried my head in her shoulder, shaking my head. I'm just being a baby. It's not really a bad thing at all. I just didn't want it to happen. I didn't think it'd happen. I didn't know it could happen this way. How long are you gonna talk around this? Just tell me what happened. I pulled my head back so I could see her face. It wasn't something I wanted to admit. I didn't even know how to admit it. It was something that had never happened before. But while sitting there and listening to Paul, listening to plain utter compassion he had for people, listening to how passionately he wanted to be the student council president and how he came to that decision, As he spoke, I felt a terrible sinking feeling in my stomach. I looked out the window then. The cherry blossom tree that had been blooming during the flower festival was losing its petals, and I watched another fall to the ground in slow motion. So this is what it feels like, I thought. I'm in love with Paul. I don't understand how it happened. Maya's hands froze for a second. Then she started rubbing my back yet again. I waited for her to tell me that I was blowing things out of proportion or jumping to conclusions, but she said nothing. When I looked up at her, she was shaking her head, staring at the wall.
Well...
That's just how things fall sometimes, Hana. At some point, I was able to calm myself and look at the situation realistically. Feelings were feelings. I couldn't control them. At some point, they'd pass or grow away, and if they didn't, I'd find a way to deal with them. Besides, I had no way of knowing whether this was truly love. I never experienced it before, after all. Well, yeah, I'd say it's accurate. I was going on my gut instinct, but plays have been written about why teenagers trusting their gut instinct was a terrible idea. Like Romeo and Juliet. Or West Side Story. I managed to make it through class next day with my sanity intact. When the bell rang, I stood from my chair and Maya gave me a huge thumbs up. I nodded but otherwise ignored her. I didn't need a thumbs up, I needed sanity. As I headed through the hallway, I began to notice something weird. People were pointing at me, shocked looks on their faces, like I was wearing a blood-red clown nose. That's her. Doesn't look like much. I bit my lip. Was this because I was helping with the campaign? It seemed like an odd thing for people to be so concerned about. Maybe Paul was right, and this really was a good publicity move? It wasn't until I stepped outside and saw the newspapers in the rack that I understood. President dating campaign assistant? Oh no. We received an anonymous tip that Hana Mizuno, the third-year transfer student for Amarisu, is the secret weapon that Paul Ritchie spoke of. However, sources are divided on how this weapon is supposed to function. It appeared they were engaging in human activity, one would call a date or an outing, our anonymous source reported. Perhaps she gives him the moral strength required to operate in a civilly unjust society. Regardless of the motive, one thing is certain, this couple has caught the public's eye. Here's hoping for a happy ending. I flung the newspaper back on the rack and stalked towards the cafeteria, mind racing. This was not what I wanted to happen. This was the opposite of what I wanted to happen. So why was I smiling so much? I got my ham and bologna sandwich. I didn't feel like eating anything more good. Scanned the lunchroom for a section that had the most frenzied activity. As expected, Paul, Nick, and Josh were at that table, grinned at me. I went to meet them, contemplating how I should bring up the newspaper article. I like how Josh appeared first. As I sat down, they cleared their throats. I'm Paul. I'm Nick. And I'm Josh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Welcome to our campaign team. From beneath the table, they drew out small confetti poppers and pulled them. Confetti sprang onto my face, small clouds of smoke drifting across the tabletop. We're glad to have you. Yes, truly glad, truly blessed. You have no idea how much this means to us, to me in particular. I am sure you'll be a very valuable asset. Your perspective is highly valued. Josh nodded to himself, and Nick shot him a glare. I dusted confetti off of my head, glaring at them. So, about the campaign. Right, there's something I need to tell you. Part of the reason my being president is so important is because last year I implemented a 2-year plan. I laid the groundwork for students to be able to petition Asagao Academy for school funding for various interests, and I spent all of the year challenging decades-old legislation that prevented, certain groups from fully expressing themselves, I'll say. It took forever, but it got done. This year is the year we're actually going to do something with that legislation by throwing school-wide festivals and holidays to learn about and celebrate all sorts of different things, including the tournament. He grinned broadly at me. There's other stuff that's just tournament there, right? Oh yeah, lots of generally important stuff, but I wanted to throw us all a bone too. We're lucky it falls on a Saturday this year. Last year we had to create a distraction because Jared couldn't afford to skip a day of class. I convinced Mr. Saitoma as a rare breed of werewolf that turns in broad daylight. We had to get Mr. McPasta to help us. Why on earth Mr. McPasta help with that? Nick shrugged.
Well...
He's a weird dude, but he's a nice guy. It's for a laugh he'll do it. I think he just wants to see the reaction, plus he seems kind of into stuff like that. Yes, in case you're wondering, Mr. McPasta is based on a creepypasta person on YouTube named Creeps McPasta. That's why. It's that sort of reference. Okay, anyway. Nick jerked a thumb across the cafeteria and I saw Mr. McPasta peering closely at a string of raw beef, a malicious grin on his face. See, right there. So we've been trying to decide our strategy this year, but we haven't gotten any idea what to do. See? Josh pushed forward, setting his hands on the table and staring me down like a lion. You ask me, we need to leave people alone. Keep the whole election on a down low. In our competition's campaign efforts, but never exceeding them. We want the election to fall away from people's minds so that when the ballot rolls around, they go with a comfortable face. That's a terrible idea. We need to win their hearts, not hope they forget we exist. If we can make them like Paul, if we can make them think he would be a cool dude to get a drink with or something they can relate to, they're bound to vote for him, because they'll trust how he runs things. I thought we should talk actual platform. Tell people what we're planning on doing. You did that last year, because of all that legislation, you don't have much to show for it. You can't do that or they won't believe you. Your players face the same thing. They'll still think you won't be able to do anything. If you don't want to stick to the status quo, and if you play cards right, you use that to our advantage. I don't want to manipulate anybody either. I don't like sitting and waiting for stuff to happen. I like to be proactive. Yeah, too proactive. Ouch, that hurts. I watched them bicker between themselves, waiting for a lapse in conversation to get a word in edgewise, but not one never came. After 7 minutes of watching them tread the same ground, I raised a timid hand.
Hana!
Right, Hana! You're the level-headed one. This is exactly what we wanted you for. What should we do?
What?
Wait, now I'm in charge of the decision? Paul nodded and pointed at me. It was clear the ball was in my court. Alright. So, it's time to talk. Politics. We go with Nick's idea of winning their hearts and minds. That's obvious, but we don't really have a method for how we're going to achieve this. We go with Josh's idea of play defensively. We have a general idea, but we don't know how we're going to go about being defensive. It's just a general idea. Talk platforms. When people vote for somebody, they tend to want to know what their platform is. And they're not just voting about whether this guy could be a guy that you would take a drink with, or if they seem like they're not bothersome. Because even the most not bothersome person can be a bad candidate for a given position. And you could talk up all storm about how good you are of a person, but if they don't know what you're going to do once you're in office, that's a little dicey. So I'm thinking that we're going to talk platforms. Paul's eyes glittered.
Yeah!
I knew he'd see it my way. I didn't like being put on the spot like that. Having to make decisions all of a sudden was not my strong suit. Moreover, having to choose between people is not something I like to do, even if they themselves weren't taking it to heart. As I watched, Paul, Nick, and Josh started discussing tactics for the tournament. Well, Nick's really good at grabs for some reason, so if the other person gets close combat, he won't be able to tag out fast enough. By then they'll have scooted away. And maybe I should go in first instead of you? I ate my sandwich slowly and gazed across the cafeteria. I and the rest of Norbu's crew were laughing about something. I was inching closer and closer to Jared with each passing second. He reached up to tap him on the shoulder, and he swerved away to talk to Shane, as if he didn't even notice. Well played. Think, Anna? Huh? Weren't listening, were Gus sighed heavily and rubbed his temples. Can't work at this, can't work at there. Paul wants you to go on with him to the interview.
What?
Interview? It's on PB&J, so it's not a big deal. It'll be exactly like hanging out with the guys, don't worry. Paul, I really don't think I should. I'm not good at that kind of thing. Of course you are. Don't count yourself out before you even try. God, I know how I get in front of crowds. It's not for me. Paul rolled his eyes. Sure, you'll be great if you give it a try. Hanging in a crowd is just two guys. Please listen to me.
All right.
It's society, you're coming with me. A shiver passed down my spine. Why weren't they listening to me? Just before, I was the only one who could decide on things, now my opinion didn't count. I stared at my plate. I wasn't hungry anymore. I think I head back. Really? Let me come with you then. Paul stood, Nick and Josh stood as well. We're coming too. Sorry, but I want to talk to Hana alone. Josh and Nick looked annoyed at this turn of events, but I couldn't tell whether it was because Paul was taking me away from them or because I was hogging Paul. Dejected, they sat back down and started debating the realities of spider tea parties. That does sound like a continued episode, actually. I'm just saying, an actual spider would kill everyone. How? Venom tea? Eat? Paul and I tossed our trays and headed out to campus. I really wasn't planning on having him follow me, but maybe now was a good time to talk to him about the oracle. Are you feeling better today? What? Paul searched my face, but what he was looking for I didn't know. I blushed and walked away. You were really sad yesterday, so I was wondering. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm better now. Just felt sick is all. Paul nodded. Campus was truly beautiful in the spring sunshine. There was a light breeze, and as I looked at the buildings we passed, I was reminded again of how well off Asagao was. Walkways were spick and span, the hedges perfectly trimmed. It wasn't a surprise campus was a hive for rumors, so many rich kids and no city to play. So Paul. I'm gonna mention the rumors. They're in the newspapers, so... Oh yeah, those. Paul kicked a stray pebble off the sidewalk. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't mean to cause trouble. Wouldn't want to get in the way of any potential suitors, you know? No, it's not really a problem, it was just... Just what, hoping for some sort of reaction? I stared at my hands and Paul chuckled. If there's anything I can do to fix it, I will, trust me. I guess we'll just bide our time for now. Right. Stupid, huh? I shook my head. Poppy Hall rose in front of us, tall and imposing. A Georgian feel to his... Paul held open the door for me. After you. He bowed in front of me, and with a giggle I headed inside. As we entered, I noticed an audible volume drop, as if people saw us and stopped talking. As if they were talking about us and didn't want to be overheard. It wasn't long before I realized why. The walls were lined with what could best be described as posters for a smear campaign. Paul's face was crossed out in all of them. Continue? No. Shout at us from every inch of the walls. Paul's original campaign posters were nowhere to be seen. Paul stepped up to a row of lockers and tore down an image, holding it in front of him. Did Jeff do this? Why would he do this? It's not like him.
Paul.
Paul. Now that I was looking at the poster in his hands, I could see there was a small writing etched on the bottom of the poster. Paul is the bastard son of a Tanuki. There's no way we can prove it's really human. You shouldn't trust people who aren't human. Tanuki.
What?
What are we going to do? What if people actually believe this? The look on his face broke my heart. I reached out to touch his arm, and he finally looked up from the poster and at me. Now we know where this scene comes in.
Well,
So clearly not serious. People are smart enough to believe this kind of thing, right? I bet that's why Jeff did it, half as a joke. Paul sighed. Here. I would love to give the general populace more credit, but fear-mongering and rumors, even when they're ridiculous, have a way of impacting people. You don't know that for sure. Paul shot a look and I trailed off. He must also have noticed the way conversation died when he walked into the room. I can't continue being president this year. My 2-year plan will be left behind and forgotten. I worked all last year on that. I should have done something more flashy. Nobody knew that I was trying to help them. Nothing happened after all my promises. They thought I was just going goofy off, and now they don't trust me. If I'd just known. Paul crumpled the flyer in his fist and threw it on the ground. I reached out and rubbed his back, looking fearfully around the hallway. Students had gathered and were watching us. Some were pointing, while others seemed uncomfortable with this outburst and scurried away. Don't worry about this, Paul. We'll figure out a way to fix it. Oh, we will. His face darkened. I took my hand from his back. We definitely will. Paul stalked off shortly after, claiming he needed to find a safe place to let off some steam. Oh boy. I let him go. I had some steam of my own to let off. Jeff? Jeff, who had been leaning over a desk talking with Ian, shot up straight as a rod. I stared up at him, shaking with rage. Why'd you do that? Jeff swallowed, but smiled half-heartedly.
What?
What did I do? Don't act like that with me, Jeff. I know you're smarter than that. Why would you do something like that to Paul? Jeff glanced away from me for a second or two, then looked at me again. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's not like people are gonna believe them. It's a lighthearted, funny way to campaign against him. A lighthearted? Rumor mongering? It was a joke. Paul's got charisma. He's got magnetism in him. He's got the bonus of having been president last year. Comparatively, I've got little to go off of. People don't really know me as funny, so I found a way to throw humor into the mix. I don't see what's wrong.
no!
People are going to believe them! People aren't that stupid, Hana. You're not doing them justice. He folded his arms, mine apparently made up. No matter what I said, he was sticking with the posters. If it makes you feel any better, I helped him put them up. Okay, Ian. That doesn't really help, but whatever. I glared incredulously at Ian. How would that make me feel better? I don't know, but it was worth a shot. Ugh. Threw up my hands and marched back to my desk. That was it. It was on. This meant war. Paul would win this campaign if it was the last thing I ever did. As soon as the bell rang, a Petrobeds ran to the door.
Hannah!
Hannah, wait!
See you later.
Sorry, really important electric business here. I sprinted to the 4th floor and managed to catch Paul as he was coming out of class. I also like how they even stuck posters all the way over here. Oh, we need to hold a meeting immediately, discuss our strategy. We stared at each other in surprise. I see I picked the perfect campaign manager. Where are the other two? Paul pointed to the classroom behind him, where Nick and Josh were thumb wrestling as if their lives depended on it. Josh crumbled to the ground under the pressure of Nick's thumb, tears leaking from his eyes. I will not give in. You'll lose your thumb if you don't. They've got cleanup duty and they're wrestling for it. Just have the meeting in there then. We can help them clean up. Another great idea from our campaign manager. He slapped me on the back with a chuckle. Yet you think you won't be going to broadcast? I can't believe this. Well, you're not going to force me to do it, are you? Paul pushed me into the room, bypassing a confused Sash and Jared on the way. Don't worry, don't worry. We have more important things to discuss right now anyway. I figured that between the three of us, class would get cleaned in no time. I should have known better. 3 of them fought each other constantly, using each new cleaning tool as a weapon. Mops became lances, brooms became throwing lances, cleaning sprays a pepper spray equivalent. I cleaned silently on my own, working quickly to make up for the messes they started. By the time we were done, my head was throbbing and I wanted to murder someone. Couldn't they see the strain they were causing other people, or were they really too wound up in their own worlds to care? I wonder if Paul wanted me to be their campaign manager. I was probably the only person passive enough not to up and walk away. I clucked and, as if on cue, Paul stood. Okay, my friends and loved ones. As you can see, we have a bit of a situation on our hands. The enemy is using dirty tactics in order to destroy our main line of defense, my good reputation. He started pacing through the room, moving, calming my tired eyes, and making it easier to focus. He seemed to be the kind of person who moved a lot when he spoke. The kind of person who had a lot of energy and passion. Nowhere necessarily to put it. That must have been how he managed to stay in a club and run a newspaper on top of his presidency. How on earth had he found so many things that caught his passion? Here I was, coming to Asagao more to escape something than to pursue something, and this kid was picking up meaning like pretty leaves in fall. I think there's only one thing we can do. He smacked a fist into his palm, eyes burning. We strike back.
What?
What? Nick and Josh roared and jumped to their feet, trouble dancing around Paul. I stared at them. You can't be serious. We have to fight fire with fire. I'm not going to sit back and take this. Sit back and take... what? A little bit of name-calling? I blinked rapidly, trying to make sense of what was happening. His words floated back to me. Sometimes that happens, you know. They seem great until you spend all your time with them. What? That's a terrible idea is... very, defensive? Or offensive? Was that going to accomplish my, they might be inflamed by passion? So I have to say that's not what I want. I think that might be our best shot at getting through to them. Because that terrible idea seems like it would be a quote that, if you were to say, it seems like that you're on the attack yourself. And you're meant to be level-headed one. What's that going to accomplish? It could be a level-headed response, but they might also be carried by their passion at that point. So maybe not a good idea to use that. Let's go with, that's not what I want. Paul rubbed his chin carefully. Okay, then what do you want? I want anybody to want to vote for you, Paul. Not to not want to vote for Jeff. Paul's eyebrows shot to the ceiling, but Josh scoffed. It's what happens in the end that matters, not how you get there. How draconian of you. Or Draco Malfoy, if you ask me. Damn it, Josh. Paul searched for my eyes for a bit. Anna, you... I glared at him, trying to tell him what I wanted to say through my eyes. No matter what, I wasn't right. There was no way I could be able to hold my own ground, not with all 3 of them against me like they were, but Paul could understand how I felt about it. Maybe then he wouldn't let it happen. If you do that, then I'm leaving this campaign.
Huh?
You'd actually... I wasn't trying to join a group of bullies. I was trying to join to make some kind of difference. That's what I thought mattered to you. Your saving space is legit, too. If you're concerned about your pride, then by all means, continue with what you're doing. I doubt it'll have the effect you'll want it to, though. You'll really want to take from other people never earn ours respect in the end. You are implying that Paul is like that? I shrugged, my heart beating rapidly. I didn't know what I was implying, but I knew what I was thinking, and my thinking is that I didn't want to be around a person like that. I didn't want to be friends with a bully. I wasn't about to let rumors ruin somebody else's life just because they stood to gain something. Paul and I stared at each other, passing through an absurd kind of stalemate. No, Han's right.
What?
I am?
Really?
He is? He is. He smirked and shook his head.
Alright.
I knew there was some fire in you. Would you mind telling me these things? I know more about who you think I am. Paul crowed and clapped in his hands. See, she's got a mouth on her. He jumped up and down. I frowned at him, feeling like an elephant in a circus tent. Do you mind? Right, sorry. If we're not doing that, their next best bet is to... Glance at me, Nick, Josh. Neither of us said anything. Confront him? I already did that, actually. He insists he saw it as a joke.
Really?
A joke? He? Ian helped. I knew that poster was too clever to be Jeff.
Alright!
Alright. Paul smacked his hand on his desk, grinning wildly. We're going to win this campaign no matter what, got it? That was already the plan. Yeah. Huh? Now it's Plan 5.0, and there's no room for mistakes in Plan 5.0, got it? Guess so. If you understand, put your hands in. He nodded to his hand on the desk. Nick and Josh threw their hands on top of his. Then all three turned to look plainly at me. Huh? I sighed and put my hand in too.
Yeah!
Wonderful. To presidency and the tournament. May we win it all. Ha! Paul threw his hand up in the air all by himself. Nick, Josh, and I followed a second later, blade escaping from our hands. We've got to work on that, first of all. He put his hand on the desk again and nodded for us to get in formation. I followed suit, head spinning. What had I got myself in? Chapter 3 of Continue Boys, all smiling in the background. The next week passed slowly as our plans were made for Paul's campaign. Given that continued access to the newspaper segment, in which Paul, most of the articles became weird 1950s style propaganda, talking Paul up as some kind of spotless hero which everyone could look up to. Oh wow. They liked the articles, but every time I looked at one, I wanted to strangle them. They were making Paul too unreliable and were gauging everything only from his point of view. He talked a lot about wanting the best for the student populace, but never detailed in what way he would benefit them. Josh said those parts would be too boring, that students just wanted a superhero figure to look up to. At the next few meetings, tried to bring up my ideas for a campaign, but I always never got a word in edgewise. Never stopped talking long enough for me to make a point, almost too deep a conversation about another topic. It wasn't long until I started wondering why I was even there. Paul might have had a great vision for my addition to the team, but just end up with me as a somewhat desire for all their arguments. I was venting my frustrations to my eye one night while getting ready for bed, dragging a brush through my hair. They could just get an interviewer, even something from perspective of another student, and tell them something about Paul they could actually relate to. I think that would have a big impact. I'm just so tired of having them not listen to me. I can't keep sitting around. I feel like I'm there for decoration, not for actually being useful. I paused from clipping her toenails, looked at me full on in the face, put down my brush knowing something big was coming. Well, why not just do it yourself?
What?
What? It's not like you need his permission or anything, especially not if you're going from the perspective of some random student. Why not try to humanize him a bit? Tell some cute little anecdotes about him and have someone else submit it for you.
Bingo.
I mean, I don't like to brag, but I like to consider myself something of a writer. I can help you whip something up real quick and he submits his letter to the editor. What do you say?
I don't know.
What if he gets mad? That's what they're going for.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you have to step away from the group when you know what they're doing is wrong. Wasn't that the whole reason he had you in the first place? Well, I guess it's up to you in the end. What do you want to do? Well. This is actually a tough one. So, we could go about publishing an article and risk having somebody get mad. I mean, it could also work, but it's a little weird because it could go either way, really. It could humanize Paul, but it could also make somebody mad, like Paul particularly. We could also let it be, figuring that if that's how they want to have their campaign managed and whatever, that might be the best idea, honestly. I think we're gonna let it be. No, I don't think we should. I'm part of the campaign, but it's not my campaign to run. I don't want to step on his toes like that. If you say so, Hana. I thought it was a good idea. But actually, while we're on the topic of Paul, there's the whole field situation. Mine and I hadn't spoken about it since the articles came out. She knew exactly how much attention like that bothered. I don't really know anymore. Not feeling him so much? It's not them not feeling him, it's just like, I don't get it. We find having trouble just communicating with each other. It's like he's on the second floor and I'm on the first, and we're trying to talk through the level between us. We're just not seeing things clearly. Don't like him anymore? Not that, it's... things were a bit easier.
I don't know.
I don't know. I nodded solemnly. I hope you at least learn how to stand your ground with those guys. I know they're not doing it on purpose, but you shouldn't take that kind of treatment just because they don't mean it. Okay. Seeing the look on my face, I turned back to her tone. No matter how I protested, Paul kept trying to teach me various aspects of public speaking. Proper diction to answering questions off the cuff. It wasn't. I heard that last year Paul used his presidential funding on donuts for the students in his classroom instead of the improvements to the school that he promised. Is this true? I wasn't here last year, so I can't really answer that. So it's true then?
No!
No, that's not what I said. I stamped my foot and Paul made a face at me. How many times do I have to say this? When it comes to interviews, it's the gaps in information that count. You can't concretely deny something, people assume it's true. And you can't keep caving under pressure like that. You're gonna get mean. I collapsed to a chair, head in my hands. You're taking this way too seriously. Just school election, I keep telling you it's not cut out for this. But you are, I can see it in you. You've got that spark. If you would just believe in yourself, you'd be able to do this easily, but instead you keep insisting you can't. Haven't you ever heard that anything is possible? Anything might be possible, but this isn't one of them. Just use Nick or Josh. You can trust them not to mess up.
No.
No, if I took them, I get too focused on joking around. I need to maintain my image. Your image? What's so wrong with people seeing you as, oh no, an actual human? Paul pursed his lips. Right. And what happens if you ever need to do something like this outside of school? What happens if, say, your father gets... I bristled. What about my father? You said he runs his own business, right? What if a customer steals from him, but there's no way to prove it other than your word, and police come to question you? Your father can get in a lot of trouble simply because you aren't convincing. In fact, you can cause suspicion with the way you're acting. Leave my father out of this! Paul rolled his eyes. Calm down, Hana. Just a hypothetical situation. I'm only trying to help you. I shook my head. I don't want your help, okay? I don't want to keep trying to force me to do something I'm not. When I started to leave, he didn't even try to stop me. He just turned to the window, hand on top of his. The interview with PB&J was only 2 days away. If I was going to be forced to participate, should I at least give it my best shot? That was rational. That kept me coming back to practice that were only helping frustrating the hell out of both of us. At this rate, more practice would just mean a stiff and awkward interview. Manners with no chemistry knows I can get along. Well, if we just leave it, then we don't know how this is going to resolve now. So I say we keep practicing. Maybe we can reach some kind of compromise that'll help. I put myself back down, a grudging sigh escaping me. Look, Paul, I'm sorry, it's just really frustrating. I don't feel like you're listening to me at all. Paul turned around, shaking his head. Not that I'm not listening, it's that I'm listening to what you're really saying.
Hana.
You have drive, ambition, talent. I don't know why you're insisting on life and accuracy. Are you scared or something? I stared at him, unsure whether I was more angry about his arrogance and presuming he knew about me, or the fact that what he said might have had a grain of truth to it. No, Hana, be nice, don't be mean. I took a deep breath and looked at him. Let's write a script. If there's a script, I might be able to make it out of the interview in one piece. But you just compromise with me on just this one thing. Fine, script it is. I pulled out a notebook as Paul went to the chalkboard and started drafting ideas for what he wanted to cover. This way, Paul would answer all the unexpected questions. I could give standard responses to questions as needed. It wasn't a perfect system. I was sure I would stutter or forget an answer somewhere, but it was better than nothing. Better than arguing. Paul suggested topics, and I gave feedback on what I thought appropriate. In no time, he had a list of real topics and another list of goofy inside jokes we'd made up. It was weird. When things were like this, we got along so well. Why couldn't it be like this all the time? That day at lunch, Paul could not stop telling everyone about the script we'd come up with together. He was ecstatic. As the others nodded and commented on my idea, I felt for the first time that I was actually contributing something to the group. Nick, however, wasn't too enthusiastic. When I shot him a questioning look, he shrugged but refused to say anything. Whatever was bothering him, it seemed keeping the peace was more important. As I neared the club room, I started to hear strange noises. Howling, screeching, stomping. It sounded like there was a zoo in there. I paused at the door, absolutely dreading what I would find when I opened it. After standing there for 5 straight minutes, the noise inside never ceasing, my curiosity got the better of me and I opened the door a crack to peek inside. Nothing could have prepared me for what I saw inside. Paul, Nick, and Josh were standing in the room, each in their own exaggerated poses. Paul was doing some sort of karate pose, his arms in a T-Rex position. Nick was doing an endless pirouette in the center of the room. And Josh had somehow got his leg behind his head and was bouncing on the remaining one. Paul, who was facing the door, pointed. The rest turned on me, scenting their prey. There was a moment of silence. Adrenaline struck me, my heart beating rapidly. I shut the door, turned, and ran. Then they all started yelling. It was too late. A stampede of shoes hitting the tile floors. It's wood! That's wood! Hana! I'm sorry. With the speed at which I apologized, it sounded like a spell to keep me safe from harm. Come back here, Hana! Their footsteps echoed down the hall as they continued to chase after me. We weren't doing anything weird, alright? You didn't see anything! The trio was gaining on me, their legs longer, faster. I took a glimpse behind me, but it was all a fleeting blur. It was a dance battle, you know, like interpretive dance. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry. With that last ditch effort and apology, I ducked into the nearest girls' bathroom. To my horror, the door opened behind me. They followed me in. I turned around, backing up. They advanced on me. Anna, you've been thinking. Perhaps you need a bit of an introduction to what it means to live a continued lifestyle. I don't really think that's necessary. Of course it is. How long have you spent living this shy, quiet life of yours? It's been 2 years? That was a rhetorical question, but I'm impressed by your quick answer. Looks like Paul's lessons are paying off. I hit the back wall. There is nowhere for me to go. You know, this is gonna look terrible if someone walks in on us. Don't worry, no one will. Oh no. Crash to the floor, whimpering. The last thing I remembered was their hands reaching for me, a quiet cry escaping my lips. Help! You can do it, Hana girl. Now add the apple. Oh no. I stood on the teacher's desk, but she was tracking stains all over his notes, pineapples in either hand. An apple was placed onto my forehead, and the 3 boys skipped giddily to the back of the room. Save me, someone!
Yeah!
They're perfectly safe. Pencils don't hurt that bad if they miss, and we won't graduate the scissors until we've gotten really good. Doesn't it feel good to take risk? Doesn't it feel good to live? I hate you all. One thing was for sure. Life with Continue Boys was always interesting. Okay, we've gotten through that mess. And welcome back to PB&J. Your somewhat nightly talk show / music thing / news source. Right, we've got a real special treat for you, just trust me, we really do. It's our current student body president, Paul Ritchie, and his campaign manager type president, transfer student, Hana Mizuno. PBG and John clapped lightly for us as Paul leaned into the microphone, chuckling. And also, I like this, you know, thank you so much for having us on. It really means a lot to us that we're able to come and spread our message to the world.
Yeah!
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So we have a lot of questions planned for this segment, but we also want to take a few questions from our callers. Give you guys a bit of warm-up while we wait for our callers to get their questions in, shall we? PBG and John started asking all the standard questions about Paul's campaign. Is he running? What is his platform? What did he get done last year? Paul winked at me as questions started, and I answered for him. Hesitantly at first, but gained confidence over time. PBG and John were good, kind hosts, neither of them keeping on exploiting their friends for increased viewership. Because of that, even when I said something that sounded a bit like it could be taken wrong, PBG had me clarify and John told jokes to end up the fairly boring conversation. Paul patted me gently on the back so as not to be heard over the microphone, being with friends. Maybe he had a point. Maybe I wasn't as bad at public speaking as I thought. And I can relate to that, actually, because, well, for the longest time I've been bad at public speaking and broadcasting a group of people, sorts of things. And I've had to learn over how to do that. Anyway, well, that was enlightening. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you for the enlightening conversation. Now for our break. For our first caller. Excuse me. PBG may have fished John, who grinned. Apparently he wanted to get right into the good stuff. Our first caller, Kate, you're on. Right, so this first question is for Hannah. Why'd your hair all pink and whatever? Like, what are you trying to do? Adrenaline pumped through my veins, so completely taken off guard I was, but Paul hastily leaned to the microphone and answered for me.
Yeah!
It's all natural. She was born that way, baby. Is that even possible? Apparently so, and Han's here to prove it. Thanks for your question. I shot Paul a grateful smile and sat back proud. A slow, drawling voice crawled over the line next, and I knew instantly who it was. So, what does Paul think he has over Jeff that gives him a competitive edge? Paul shot forward immediately.
Well...
First of all, I don't run smear campaigns. I run my campaign honestly, clear communication to people I intend to serve. Secondly, this year will mark my second year as president. Now family has influenced the plans I was working on all last year. Without this second year, that first year is basically wasted. So you wasted your first year in office, and you want people to elect you because you promised this time it'll be different. Paul bit his lip. He'd fallen exactly into the trap he tried to keep me out of. Congratulations, complicated. It took a while for it all to get through, but you'll see the effects of these changes this year. Paul gets selected. Paul shot me a brief thumbs up, but then he encountered.
Really?
Jeff can't make good on that legislation. Why? Both Paul and I froze. I glanced at him. I didn't even know whether it was possible for Jeff to do such a thing, but judging by the look on Paul's face, it was.
Well,
Only all of the changes I meant to put in place, so a few could fall through the cracks. And if you aren't elected, you of course won't tell Jeff what your plans were, because you or rivals don't actually want the best for the school. Hot damn. Ian was a lean, mean, rhetoric-spouting machine. Seeing our struck faces, John grabbed the microphone. Sorry, buddy, but you've been hogging the line. We'll take the next caller. For the next hour, the majority of the calls were full of inane questions. Little things like Paul's favorite color, the funniest thing that ever happened to continue in public. The answers were interesting, and judging from the laughter they inspired, I felt like the interview could still be a net win for us, a way to show the world Paul's true personality firsthand. Despite all of his seriousness and intense passion, he was a fun, mischievous guy, and rather lighthearted when it didn't involve the campaign. The more the student body saw that side of him, the more successful we would be. I truly thought that. At least, until the last question came. And we're about to wrap up, but we have just enough time for one last quick question.
what's up?
Oh, caller 68, you're on the line. Oh, no. Why did it have to be her? Yes, I would like to know, is it true that Anna and Paul are dating?
What?
What? I burst out immediately, then clapped a hand over my mouth, but it was too late. Baby was cackling at the end of the line. Miss Mizuno and I are just friends. We have a purely platonic relationship, but isn't that right, Hana? I looked at Paul, color filling my cheeks. Yes, there are no romantic feelings. Well, I mean, we're not dating, so... My mumbles faded into the background as my ears began to hum, anxiety taking over. Not that the Paul isn't great, he really isn't. Nigger because... Somebody please shut me up! I looked in horror from John to PBG, and PBG dove in, seeming somewhat disturbed himself. And we're out of time. Thank you so much, everybody, for this great show. Bye-bye. He shut off the recording and took us off the air, then crossed over to me. Hana, are you okay? I buried my face in my hands, not wanting to look anybody in the face, and definitely not. I messed up real badly. It wasn't that bad, don't worry. Nobody should have asked such a personal question like that. It's not your fault for not being able to handle it. He trailed off and rustling came from next to me. Paul gathered his papers and stood, face blank as a calm lake. Thank you so much for having us on. He extended his hand to John, not only professional, and John shook it half-heartedly.
Later.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. It was irrational, but watching him leave a pang striking my heart. I messed up, not him. I knew I wasn't cut out for this. I told him from the very, very beginning that if I wasn't cut out for this. Even with all his stupid practice and stupid belief in me, I still screwed everything up. I'm such a failure.
No.
No, you're not. Fuji patted me hesitantly on the back. John raised an eyebrow. You could have answered it better. John! I'm just telling the truth. I'm not attacking the poor girl. So, you got the odds for Paul then? Fuji stopped patting me. My face colored yet again. I could feel it happening. And it was a dead giveaway even if I said nothing to confirm it. John nodded, throwing an over ball in the air and catching it. He's a tough nut to crack, even tougher to read. Got your work cut out for you, girl. Was it obvious? Maybe not to him. He's a master at telling himself one thing and never looking at the alternatives, not if they complicate matters. It's why Nick and Josh are so good for him. They're a perfect team together. Don't push him. Don't push him. That's my advice. Not when rush things. Not personal things, anyway. He comes around, and he'll be of his own accord. I nodded. It was weird getting romantic advice, solid advice, from John. But I was grateful in any case. Yuji frowned next to him, not seemingly interested in the topic. I was too embarrassed to say. Thank you for saving me, PG. Both times. Yuji heaved a heavy sigh. My mom would get mad at me if I did anything like that. What, gentlemen? Yuji smiled sadly. And I'm back now. It's still fairly late out, but it won't be for much longer.
See you later.
Luck. I nodded.
Bye.
Thanks, Sean. I mean it.
What the hell?
The hell is that? Who's here so early in the morning? My grumpy from a late night on the volleyball court threw a pillow at the door of the hiss. Don't you have any manners? I don't yell. I'll stop yelling when that idiot stops knocking. I hastily rose and flicked on the light, leading to a sputter of terrible curses from who's there? Anna, can I talk to you? It was Paul. I glanced quickly in the mirror, trying to pat down my bedhead, until I became conscious of the fact that I was in my braless. I can see how that is a problem. Can you wait? I will murder you. Never mind. Messiah pulled open the door and stepped out into the hallway.
Hey.
Anna, hey, sorry I came so early, but I wanted to talk to you about this. I crossed my arms over my chest and nodded, distinctly not looking forward to whatever this conversation was going to bring. It was just bothering me all night, so I came over here first thing. I know it might have seemed a little angry after the interview yesterday. Images from the night before came flooding back to me. I had my hands, Paul's stony face, PBG's sad smile, and John's raised eyebrow. Oh. Yeah, and I didn't want you to feel bad. I nodded slowly, not believing him for an instant. Well, I believe that he didn't want me to feel bad, but there was no way after the time and energy spent preparing me for that interview that he was upset about it. And then there was that ending. Did he know how I felt about him? Is that why he was doing this? Because he didn't want to be angsty over the boy with? I swallowed hard. Pathetic.
Well...
Actually, I was hoping that you might want to go somewhere with me tonight to make up for it. I know it put a lot of pressure on you and everything. My head snapped up. Paul was grinning at me. I figured we could take a stroll around the mall, maybe grab a bite to eat or something.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
It's the least I can do, you know? Well, sure, I'd love to go.
Aw, sick!
Great. I'll come get you later today, then. Oh, and no meeting today. I think we deserve a bit of a day off. He snapped at me and fingered gun. I nodded, completely at a loss for what was happening.
Alright, see ya.
Right, so, see you tonight. Have a great day in class, Anna. The last charming smile, he set off down the hall. I whirred around. Standing behind me, evidently having heard some portion of the conversation, was This is interesting. Is it? What happened between me and Paul is really none of her business, and I glared at her to prove it. Katsu slowly nodded, eyes faintly glowing. You seem to have a much higher allocation of luck than other humans in this area. Allocation of luck? One must wonder whether your hair gives you luck, or whether your luck caused your hair. I darted a hand up to my head and wrapped it around my doorknob. I've got to get ready for class. Katsu nodded slowly, then. Good morning. I blinked. He looked at me expectantly. Good morning? You're up early. I hope you do well in class today. Katsu skipped down the hallway as if completely unaware of the stiff conversation we just had. I shook my head. Too much was happening too early. With a sigh, I headed back into my room, ready to face the onslaught of questions from the definitely eavesdropping mind. As we waited in the lunch line for our food, my buzz with anticipation for an ending date. What do you make up in your hair? We'll totally knock guy's socks off. He won't know what hit him. Serves him right for taking so long to acknowledge your greatness. I bit my lip. My level of excitement was matched only by my dread. I wanted the date to go well, it really did, but I was terrified of screwing something. After all, I thought the Flower Festival was supposed to be my first ever date, and that went in a completely different direction from what I anticipated. This was my first real date. I did not intend to mess it up, but somehow I was sure I would.
Hey, what's up?
Are you listening? Jean jacket or sweater? I'm asking for your opinion on your outfit. Oh, jacket? I nodded.
Perfect.
Great choice. I can definitely work with that. You look great in blue. With the last of the treacle on our plates, we started across the cafeteria, and something caught my eye. Jeff and Ian were sitting at the hidden block table, heads together. They were definitely plotting something again, and after the interrogation Ian gave us last night, I was not in the mood to sit and watch it happen. Then again, I didn't want to cause a scene. What should I do? You know? I think we should go talk to them. Well, we could leave it alone. I don't know what that'll do later. So, I think we're gonna interrupt them, actually. If nothing else, we get a chance to talk to them and maybe see what their platform is, maybe? That's my guess. I crossed the floor without me, turning back to motion for me to hurry up. Instead, I marched straight over. I plopped myself down at the hidden block table right between Ian and Jeff, started salting my food. Ahana?
Hello.
Why, hello there, friend. Nice to meet you here. I figured we'd have all the friendly chat about the campaigns and things were all in the same boat and everything. Jeff and Ian stared at me. After a second, Ian shrugged. You're on your own. He turned away, joining in on a conversation Jimmy and Luke were having about the friendship-destroying effects of marionette party. I smiled at Jeff, watching his mind quite clearly race between his friendly smile. Oh, nice view last night, huh? About that. I held up a hand. It's fine, it's fine. I'm not gonna yell at you or anything. You were completely within your rights to ask those questions. They're only questions after all. Was I? Of course, this being the case, I hope you can find it in your heart to answer my questions. It's only fair, seeming as you seem to be avoiding interviews in all forms of media. He clearly cleared his throat, gazing just to the right of my face. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't like how once you say something in the media, it's there forever. If I misspoke, that would go down in history as my opinion, so I've been staying away from it. I sniffed. Interesting. You won't mind if it's just a private conversation between friends? No, I guess not. In that case... I popped a pineapple cube in my mouth, the sheer intensity of my anger fighting me through the otherwise uncomfortable... Why are you even running for president? Let me guess, you want to change the world too? Jeff sat down his milk carton with a sigh. This is the other reason I don't want to do interviews. My explanations for things aren't very good. I'm a fourth year, about to graduate. Job market is looking real competitive and I want to get into my top college. I realized that listing a competitive video game club as my primary extracurricular wasn't going to help me much with that. No, if anything, it hurt my goals. So I thought, what is something I could do? I saw Jared and Paul arguing in the hallway about posters. Jared was all, student council doesn't even do anything. I was like, you know, he's got a point there. Paul promised a lot of stuff and he didn't follow through. Yeah, but he's going to this Yeah, but that doesn't really matter, does it? He said he changed things last year and he went back on his word. Easy as that. I figured if I could get even a couple things done, I'd be a better president than him and it'd look great on my college resume, if everyone wins.
We'll see.
Honestly, didn't think he cared this much, but I guess I committed to it, so I better follow through. Jeff shrugged and took another swig of his chocolate milk. I stared down at my food. Maybe it was a matter-of-fact way Jeff explained it, but I felt like I couldn't be mad at him anymore. He didn't have as good a reason as Paul, but he was still trying to do his best for his student body, and nobody said he had to go into leadership positions selflessly. No, it might be impossible to be totally unselfish. It was better to go in knowing exactly what we wanted out of the experience. In any case, it certainly wasn't wrong. I wasn't able to argue with his reasoning, I kind of hated him for it. Well, thanks then. That's all I wanted to know, I guess.
Really?
Really? Jeff watched me stand up, surprised. They smiled. Well, best of luck to both of us. He held a hand out for me, but both my hands were occupied holding my tray. I pulled my knee up and knocked his hand with it. Likewise. Then, disregarding the odd stares and the rest of the cafeteria, I went back to Norbu's club. Fraternize with the enemy, traitor! Very funny. I made my eye contact with Paul, who smirked at me. For the rest of lunch period, I stared at my food, completely insensible. A date with Paul? I must be dreaming. Oh my gosh, it's him! It's totally him! You look great, Al. You look absolutely gorgeous. Don't worry too much about yourself. Just have fun, okay? Paul's knock came at the door again. There was nothing for it. I was going on a date. I hesitantly pulled open the door, for some reason afraid of what I would find, but there was Paul, smiling on his face and a buzzing nervous energy about.
Hey.
There you are. You about ready to go? I nodded, and slipped out the door, trying very hard not to open it too much. Fortunately, I didn't succeed. What's mine so excited about in there? I shut the door quickly. Oh, you know, Jared. He laughed. Yeah, she's had a crush on him forever, hasn't she? How'd they even get started?
I don't know.
Don't know, I never asked. Once again, a short pang hit me, and I made a mental note to talk more to Maya about her life, not just my own. I wasn't as self-centered as all that, was I? Paul led me out the campus and head off in the direction of Higginbottom. So Higginbottom's got a small out here. It's a small one, but it's where the video game tournament is held and where most Asagao students hang out. You'd think, considering the money Asagao brings in, that Higginbottom would have grown by now, but nope, still stubborn in a little mountain town. Stubborn as the mountain, for sure. I nodded shyly. Paul was as talkative and friendly as ever, casually pointing out unique features of the local area, giving me small tidbits about the times Nick smacked a mime and Josh guarded the ire of several Russian gangsters. I would love to figure out what these came from, actually. You sure seem to keep busy, all of you. Paul shrugged.
I know, right?
It's a mixture of our personalities. Trouble seems to find us. I swear we don't go out of our way or anything, that would be crazy. Like that time when John came over and brought adult chocolate milk. Wait, what? After being around him for several weeks, I found myself wanting to argue, but bit my tongue. As we entered the mall, I side-eyed Paul, who was glancing around curiously. Shoe man, have your clothes, baby kitties are here. Super fun. Well, this was a date, right? There was no way I was going to ask, though. If he said no, it'd make everything a million times more awkward. But girls and boys going out alone together was definitely a date, right? Disregarding all the friends who did that kind of thing, that was... This time Nick and Josh went around, so...
Hey.
There's a really good pretzel place nearby. Wanna go get something?
Yeah.
Sure. He led me around the corner from the main entrance where a small pretzel shop had fries, cheese dip, and extra salt. So don't tell anybody, but you know that Jimmy from Hidden Block? I nodded. He swears up and down that he isn't related to the founder of this pretzel shop, but my family actually knows the CEO, and that's so false. I guess they just want him to grow up as a normal kid. It'd be kind of destructive for him to know he's the heir of a pretzel empire. Wouldn't pursue his own interests and all. Oh, speaking of him... You reached your front of the line. Paul leaned in toward him. What are you getting? His closest was intimidating. He smelled like shaving cream and tangerines. Just a regular pretzel. No extra salt. He nodded. 2 of those, then. I pulled out my wallet, but Paul already paid the cashier. Embarrassed, I mumbled my thanks.
What was that you were saying?
Oh, in Blackwell, I was thinking about Jeff's plan for the election.
Yep, yep. Paul screeched at me, holding his hands out like a cymbal crashing monk. We are not allowed to talk about the election today. You understand me? We've done enough preparation for the past couple of days. We deserve a break, especially after yesterday. The cashier handed Paul our pretzels with a side of cheese and led me over to a dining area opposite the booth. She's trying very hard not to smile like a gay little girl, not succeeding. If we weren't allowed to talk about the election, this definitely was a date. Paul glanced around us the hall, watched people stare into windows and children tugging their mother. So, Hana, what do you think is more important, honesty or integrity? I almost choked on my pretzel. Paul slammed me on the back of his hand and I took a large swig of my bottled water.
Where is this coming from?
I'm trying to get to know you better. Well? Was this his idea of small talk? There was nothing small about this.
Well,
What exactly do you mean by honesty and integrity? Some people would say they're similar.
Honesty is telling the truth even when it's hard. Integrity is, I guess, it's sticking to what's important to you even when they might screw everything up. Well, this is a choice. Honesty is telling the truth even when it hurts. Integrity is sticking to your guns even when it could crash. You're gonna use honesty. That makes sense, but then how does honesty work? What? Can you lie without speaking?
No? Wait, yes? Wait, why are you asking me these questions? I feel like I've been training all over again.
All side. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Man, I suck at this.
No, it's not that bad.
To be honest, he really did suck. Our first date had such a hostile atmosphere. I popped the last bite of my cheesy pretzel into my mouth as Paul scanned them all again. I've got an idea, come on. He headed off a bit down the hall, stopping at some kind of booth with his curtain.
Harikura?
A photo booth. Come on, get in, get in. I slipped inside the booth, and after a few seconds, Paul joined me. It was quite small inside, and we scrunched together just to fit. The machine slowly kicked on, and choices flickered across the screen. Single, couple. I leaned forward and clicked the couple up. A small ripple of pleasure creeping across my face. Get ready for your photos. 3, 2. What? Crap, I'm not even in the frame. Come here. Paul wrapped an arm around my shoulder and pulled me closer towards him. I looked up at him in shock and... Click. Make a face.
Alright.
I scrunched my hands up against my cheeks and puffed them out while Paul buried his face behind my head. Click. Look at your face.
My face, you usually up your nose in that one.
The photos came out wonderfully, and Paul split them in half and gave one to me. Here, something to remember you're one full president. He winked.
Remember, you're not going anywhere.
You never know. I'll flee in disgrace when I fail the election.
We're not allowed to talk about that, remember?
Ah, man, what's the point of setting the rules if I can't even break them? In the end, we had a great time. Paul stopped asking me those weird questions and so we window shopped. Frequently, I went to a store and Paul vanished from my side. I searched all over him just to find him hiding behind a coat rack or... I wasn't sure why he was doing it like that, but that was his way of flirting. I wasn't going. I was happy to spend time with him. By the time we made it back to Asagao, it was well beyond curfew. Paul and I were forced to dart from building side to lamppost to avoid detection, giggling all the while. Go! We sprinted up the way to the Primrose House and I flung the door open. To my surprise, Paul followed me in.
I turned to shoot him a questioning glance, and he grinned. What kind of man would I be if I didn't walk you all the way home? Panic struck me. I nodded and led the way up the staircase to the 3rd floor. He wasn't going to kiss me, drop me off, was he? I never kissed anybody before. I didn't know what to do, and definitely couldn't do it without in the hallway. Anybody and their pet dog could walk by and on. Suddenly terrified, the conversation stopped, and we walked down the hall to my door in an odd silence. When we reached it, I turned to face him, blushing furiously. He smiled down at me. Thanks for the fun time, Hana. No, thank you, and thanks for the pretzels. They're really warm. Paul nodded.
Alright, see ya.
Then I'll see you tomorrow at our next meeting. He turned and started down the hallway, but... That's it? Paul stopped in his tracks. What's it? You're not going to kiss me? Absolutely dying now, I can only stare at the ground. When I become so forward, when had I become so brave? Kiss you? Why would I do that? I froze. I wanted to die, or transform into a rodent and crawl under the crack that separated me from the sanctuary of my dorm room. But Paul was staring at me and I had to answer. Because this was a date? His eyes widened. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, this wasn't. I could see why. Oh no. Tears pricked my eyes. I blinked rapidly. No, Hana, He glanced around and approached me again and lowered his voice. I wasn't trying to date you. I'm trying to get some of your mojo.
What?
You were trying to get my mojo? Paul nodded solemnly. The interview last night. I thought it was a complete, utter disaster. I was furious. But when I went back to the dorms, I was stopped by people who complimented me on it. They felt like they got to know me more than ever before, and your starting answer to that last question made them feel for us, for the campaign as a whole. You've just got this thing about you. It's something that attracts attention, and you're all warm and comfy and good all the time, you know? I'm not good at that. Not just yet, so I'm hoping to get it from you. I struggled hard not to shove him away from me. Here I thought he was generally interested in who I was, but instead he just wanted something from me? He was trying to get something from me? I buried my face in my hands, and Paul awkwardly patted me on the shoulder. Sorry about that. I stepped to the right and his hand fell away. Oh, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Good night, then.
Hana.
I stepped into our room and slammed the door in his face, slumping down against it. I, who had bound up to me happily, now flew to my side.
Hana.
What happened? Do you want to talk about it? I shook my head. After a few seconds of silence, I heard quiet footsteps outside of our door. All finally. I hate boys. My sighed and joined me sitting against the door. You and me both, sister. I spent the next few days desperately avoiding Paul and the rest would continue. Nobody asked me any questions. Either I told him ahead of time what was up, or Paul did. Either way, maybe even less eager to show my face back at the table. Instead, I focused on catching up on my schoolwork and tournament practice, two things that had fallen completely by the wayside in favor of helping Paul with his campaign. Speaking of tournament. Okay, I think we're good. Both were just 3 weeks away, and I was getting increasingly nervous. Would I be able to win the tournament in my current state? Would Paul be able to beat Jeff and win the election? Every time Paul crossed my mind, I got cross with myself. Why did I still care about some guy who was clearly just using me for his own benefit? Was I okay with something like that? Why wasn't I angry at him? Why did I still care about things that made him happy? And even more than that, why were new campaign strategies still popping into my head at the most inopportune times? Why did I miss meeting with that debating strategy? Why did I almost feel like I wanted to go back? I was taking lunch by myself now, not having the heart to ask Mai to separate from Jared and join me. In a way, it was nice, peaceful, meditative, without the chaos and the feeling that people were always watching. I told them myself that I was just getting in touch with nature, my inner hippie. I leaned my head against the rough bark of the tree behind me and closed my eyes. Zuka wouldn't miss me if I took a little nap, right? Leaf rustle. Something had fallen from the uppermost tree branch, flying before me with ninja-like agility. I threw my hands up over my hair to protect it, only to hear a rather familiar laugh.
Hey.
Why do you always do that when you're surprised? It's not like I'm going to give you a concussion or anything. I lowered my hands and frowned. Why on earth? Well, Hana. Dick scratched the back of his neck, searching for words. You've been gone from the club for a while, and I kind of... Well, I need some help with my homework, and I wanted to ask you. I stared at him. I'm not even in your grade! Right, but... You're a scholarship student. You clearly know better than the rest of these Asagao peons. Nick grabbed my hands and held them against my chest in a way that was all too familiar with me. Please, Hana, I need your help. Only you would know how to deal with me. Everyone else just gets frustrated and gives up. Fine, I'll do it, okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Nick screamed up and punched the air.
Goodbye.
I'll see you in the library after class, okay? Don't bother changing your mind. But it was too late. He was off, sprinting across the field and out of earshot. I couldn't change my mind without hunting him down. The library it is, then. After class, I found Nick just inside the library, standing with a papier-mâché flower in his palm. Hi, ready to get studying? Yeah, definitely. As we searched for a small table we could have to ourselves, Nick fidgeted nervously, putting a flower in his hands. We finally settled on a small table in the back corner of the library, secluded and quiet. Took out my books, completely unsure what to do or where to start. We were studying the legend of the two kingdoms, which an ancient kingdom was split into mirror worlds, and a hero had to unite them, or something. Fourth years, on the other hand, were running some kind of weird democracy simulator. So, you said you were having trouble with the judicial branch of government, right? I peered at my books, looking for anything to help me, when something slid into my field of vision. It was the flower. Dick slid the paper flower between the pages of my book. I took it and glanced at him. Thank you? No problem, it's because... He flushed. It's because you're as beautiful as a flower. I nodded slowly, setting the flower gently to the side. Anyways. Across the world, democracies have been split into different branches of government, one of which is judicial. In America, people... Nick was smiling at me and nodding, slight giggles escaping him every now and then. So, the different branches are necessary because the system of checks and balances is supposed to handle who has the power, so no one person or group gets too much of it. A dreamy sigh read from Nick's lips. I pursed my own. Are you paying attention? Right, absolutely. Nick nodded happily. He seemed content just to sit there and look at me, and it made me really uncomfortable. Anyways, I don't think I can help you much more than that. I don't understand this all that well. We're still in basic myths and mythology. Nick sat up in alarm. But, I need help with my math. I shook my head quickly, stuffing my books into my bag. I'm terrible at math and geography and all other subjects, so, Wait! Nick grabbed onto my jacket sleeve just as I was about to leave. Wary, I turned to face him. So... I want to ask you. I winced, really not wanting to hear his question. Are you and Paul really dating? I blinked rapidly.
What?
What?
Well...
Well, I heard of the interview and there are all those rumors floating around, so when I ask Paul, he just chuckles and shakes his head, and since he isn't giving me any information, I decided to come to you. He hasn't said anything about it? About what? Then you are dating him?
No!
No, I'm not dating him. We're fairly platonic. I cursed my stupid stutter, always butting in when least necessary, but take not of childish glee.
Oh, good.
Good.
All right.
I'm glad to hear it.
Hmm.
You are? Yeah. I mean, didn't want romance to complicate the lovely friendship quadrangle we got going. I think you mean rectangle. See? I could use your help. Sorry, I forgot that I have a very important game to be playing. I tugged my sleeve out of his grasp, and he stumbled out of his chair. Oh, no, wait! You. Mr. Murphy, I do think you know the most basic crew of any library in existence. Right. Sorry, ma'am. I sped out of the library, smile tickling my lips. If Paul hadn't told anybody, that meant my humiliation was only known to me and him. All the fears I had, all the reasons to avoid the group, faded into the background. As horrible as it would be to face Paul again, I was ready to do it. It was time to get back into the game. The next day, I stood again in the lunch line of Mai, gathering a motley assortment of fruits and vegetables on my plate. It's not gonna be weird, is it? I mean, I told them you were having lady problems, which is true in a way, so I doubt they're gonna go asking you tons of questions. You know how guys get all squeamish about that kind of thing. Okay. I nodded. Despite the fact that Paul hadn't told anybody, I was still terrified about facing the club. No, if I was honest with myself, it was with facing Paul. He knew exactly why I avoided him for almost a full week. The election was drawing nearer and nearer, and as pressure ramped up, I vanished. What a responsible campaign manager. If he didn't already hate me for trying to force a kiss out of him, he hated me for being irresponsible. Still, part of me was a little bit mad at him for trying to use me the way he had. I latched onto that thin thread of anger, using the power of my shaking legs towards the normal boot's table. Hana, you're back. I was getting real worried about you. Are you feeling better? If you need help, you could have called on me. I would have gotten whatever you need in a heartbeat. I laughed nervously. Gerard's kindness put me at ease, but the fact that he brought up my absence first thing made me uncomfortable. Thankfully, as I glanced around the table, I realized Paul, Nick, and Josh were nowhere to be found. Was there a meeting I didn't know about? All the better, then. Thanks, Gerard. How's the search for Princess Pumpernickel? Not good at all.
Alright!
But it's just a matter of time before I find her. She can't hide from me forever. Gerard beamed at me, and his optimism was infectious. The card fell. I slipped back into a steady, confusing conversation that currently floated around the Normal Boots club table. I just had enough time then. I could make a huge breakthrough, but the librarian's really getting on my case. And now Mr. Zaitome was withholding permission to use the theater stage, which I got from him ages ago. None of my actors can take time off from class repair, which I get, but at this rate it's going to be a disaster. I slurped my noodles, eyebrows raised. I wasn't the only one with problems, it seemed. The rest of the boys were too caught up in their own situations to have spared much of a thought for my well-being. Well, except for Gerard and... Things going well for you? It was an innocent question, but the quirk of his brow made me feel like he was getting at something else. I am trying to put it behind me, I think. Oh, really? I mean... Oh, really? I glared at him and he smiled. Well, not that it makes me happy, but you know, I was kind of wondering whether at some point we could...
Hana!
Fucking Paul. Hana! Hands grabbed my shoulders and I jumped, flinging them off of me.
Whoa!
Whoa, intense!
Hey.
Hey, PBG, soccer going good? Yeah. Anyway, Hana, I was hoping you could talk to you privately about something. Horror shot through my stomach and I bowed my head. There was nothing I could do. I had to accept. Sorry, PBG. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I got up and followed Paul from the cafeteria, feeling eyes watching us all the way out the door. In the fresh air, I let out a heavy sigh. Thank God! I hate it when people stare. I thought you were used to it by now, what with your hair. I put my hand defensively to my bangs and Paul backtracked. Because it's pretty! I guess you being stared at is partly my fault, isn't it? What with the rumors and all. I said nothing. He was getting dangerously close here, addressing what happened the week before, and the sun notching overtaking me didn't make me inclined to speak. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that, kind of. He clapped his hands together and pointed at me square in the face. I have a plan. Plan? Yes, a plan. You can see I are going to pretend today. He clapped his hands together again and just handed them out in a large circle. Ba-bam! My throat caught, but I tried very hard not to be upset. Why on earth would I do that? Was he making fun of me? Or did he generally not understand what a completely terrible and insensitive idea that was? Well, the reason people are paying you so much attention is because we haven't answered the question of whether we're dating, or we have, but no means the same thing as no comment. If we just answer the question properly and tell them we are dating, no way they'll keep following you around the way they're doing. The campaign will get a nice bit of publicity, and you'll be safe from the horror that is our occasionally chaotic student body. He bowed gallantly and peered up at me through his eyes.
Right?
Sounds good. I stared at him in a potent mix of shock and disgust. This is what you call doing me a favor? This is how you protect your campaign manager from harm? What's wrong? I let out a harsh laugh. What's wrong? Can't believe this. Hana. I started back to the cafeteria, Paul trailing like a duckling following its mama.
Hana,
That's not what I was doing. You know that's not what I'm doing, right? I grabbed my bag and took my tray to throw it out. Hana. Explaining nothing, I fled the cafeteria, heading I knew not where. As long as it was far, far away from Paul, I would be happy. Chapter 4. Everyone is still smiling in the background. Well then. It wasn't long before I found myself in an actual place instead of just wandering the halls endlessly. Stepped into the library and meandered through the shelves. Had I overreacted? Was Paul really being a jerk, or was I being too sensitive? It took such a level of either complete disregard or complete stupidity to ask you something like that after our misunderstanding. I couldn't fathom it. There was no way he could have done that with good intention. As I shifted from one aisle to the next, my steps slowed. I traced my fingers along the back spines of the book, looking at titles. Guide to the Internet for Supremely Dumb People. The Hope that Hope Hoped. Ancient Alchemy is described by an immortal bunny. That'd be a hell of a read. Asagao's collection of books was unique and thorough, and I regret that I hadn't spent much time here until now. Oh, hello, it's you again. I jumped slightly. Mr. Saitama stood next to me, peering over my shoulder. I didn't take you for one interested in the alchemical processes of bodies, but I feel short-sighted. He smiled at me. I smiled hesitantly back. I was hoping I would run into you again. It's not often one meets someone such as yourself. He gestured to the top of my skull. It took me a few seconds to realize he was referring to my hair. No, I knew a young woman who reminded me of you. She didn't have pink hair like you do, but she had the same eyes. You wouldn't happen to be a Mizuno, would you? But how? Gave a hearty laugh. Your mother seemed like the type not to let go of her maiden name. Happy to see that hasn't changed. didn't. He's no longer with us. To my surprise, Mr. Saitomo nodded as if he fully expected this. It's not rare to see someone like that in her case. What do you mean? How'd you know my mother? The old man twirled his beard, eyes glinting. I taught her flower arrangements in her old school, long before I was appointed Asagao. She was extremely talented. I remember she wanted to start a flower shop. My father makes pottery, and they sold the flowers in the vases they were potted in. The old man hooted again, slapping his knee. Clever idea. Clever she was too. I see you share her intelligence. It would be difficult for someone of your financial status to come here otherwise. I glanced down at my clothes, suddenly self-conscious. Wasn't that apparent that I didn't have money, was I? I suppose it's because of the main character, isn't it? Main character? I call me that too. He nodded sadly. Can't help the effect you have on the people around. Don't fret, my dear. Why does it sound like you're talking in circles? Are you telling me something, or... Genre savvy too. But you get it then. Sometimes people find different ways to say what they want to say. Don't worry so much about that boy. Though he's difficult to deal with, but he really has the best intentions. If you can believe in that, you'll overcome everything. He nodded sagely and turned away. You're just leaving, then? He crept slowly away, resembling a toad, or at least a small green imp of some sort. Don't know why green specifically. I frowned. Whatever his motive for approaching me in a library to deliver cryptic information regarding something he had no way of knowing just happened, his advice was sound. I had, after all, refused Paul's offer. That should be the end of that. The least I could do was show up to the meeting after class. If I didn't do that, I might as well leave the campaign. Bitterly, I shoved the books as far back in their shelves as they could reach, smiling when I heard the satisfying clunk of their ends hitting. There was only 2 weeks till the tournament in the Olympics. I could last until then. I avoided Maya's PBG's questioning eyes all through class, concentrating intensely on the small doodles I made in the corner of my notebook. Only one person had seen the whole thing coming and therefore accepted my odd behavior. John. I made eye contact with him. He nodded at me, sympathizing and smile on his lips. Then he looked away. Finally, class was over. I pulled on my backpack. The end of days had come. It was time to swallow my pride. Seeing the grim determination on my face, my friend. Are you sure you're going to be okay? Don't worry, Mai. I stretched my neck, thinking, you'll be fine. I'll be fine. I stood outside the meeting room, heart in my mouth. It wasn't enough that I had to swallow my pride. It wasn't enough that I had to face a room full of people and tell them that, although I meant what I said, I completely are. I swallowed hard. When I entered the room, the 3 boys, who had been discussing something in a tight circle in the center of the room, turned to stare at me, down like the hey guys.
Hana!
Hana. It was an awkward stalemate. No one moved either to welcome me in or to shove me out. I closed the door and walked to my usual chair, sat my back down at the seat. So, I wanted... I'm sorry. I stared at Paul in surprise. Seeing the tension in the air, Nick and Josh stepped out of the room and gave us our space.
Really?
You're sorry? He sighed. I wanted to pretend like your allegations were false, but I realized you were correct. I was using you in publicity and not particularly treating like you and being a full-fledged member of the team. There are reasons for this, but I don't think I can tell you why. It would only make things worse between all of us. So for now, I hope you can accept my full apology. My intentions changed my behavior. He bowed 90 degrees in front of me, and I threw up my hands. Please stop this! Stop! Straighten up! Stop! He was acting like an actual politician towards me, like we were even friends. I physically grabbed him and straightened him up. I pointed at the teacher's desk and he obediently sat at its desk.
Paul.
Oh, look. I know the elections have been putting a lot of stress on you, but You gotta live life outside of it too. I know I do. You don't have to tell me this. Are you sure? I think I do. You've been relaying everything back to the collection. I haven't heard you talk about your tournament, or your classes in weeks. I don't even think Jeff's got much of a leg on you. We're clearly to leave with all the publicity we've been doing. That's what you think. I disagree. Most students seem disinterested in the election. If we just get a way to make them active participants, our name. He started and I jumped. I've got it! Nick! Josh! Nick and Josh burst through the door of the classroom and looked from me to Paul.
Yeah.
Let's have a date auction!
What?
A date auction? What do young people care about? If online auto-completion searches are to be believed, they care about one thing. Romance. I'm sure you can put that differently. Right now, Asagao is against romance. But if we can find a way to make romance approachable, to make it fun, to turn it into a fundraiser for the school, it's a win-win. I stared at Paul in shock. He heard absolutely nothing I just said to him, and I couldn't tell whether I found his relentless drive annoying or adorable. Certainly, it was inspiring. I doubt it could make any guys compete in a date auction, but that's where you come in. I need you to gather all the girls you can, from your dorm, from your classes, or wherever, as long as they're girls and students at Asagao. Rally together the army. This will be my final play. Nick and Josh politely clapped. I wanted to crawl into a hole. There was, again, nothing I could do. You'll do it, won't you, Hana? You'll talk to the women folk for me? Oh. What? Oh, God. Okay. Well... For my dead body... I don't know if it even matters how I respond here, but I like that one. Over my dead body. I'll step closer to me, giving me puppy dog eyes. No? No. He sniffed. Not even for the betterment of Asagao?
No!
Not even. Not even for a big warm hug?
No!
Not even! Paul kicked the floor of the classroom, hands in his pockets. Well, if Hana says we can't do it, I guess we just won't do it. He sighed dramatically. Nick and Josh clucked, shaking their heads. Don't make me the bad guy. I'm not the one trying to tell students to other students. Not students, time. Time! But it's fine, I get it. I understand the qualms. I'll just go back to the drawing board. And Paul physically started moving towards the chalkboard on the room. I'm going to get mad. Go mad. Fine, I'll do it.
Hana!
Paul pulled me into a hug. Nick and Josh balked and I blushed. Oh, right. Sorry. Professional distance. Paul pulled away. Took 3 steps back from him. But then I'll get going. We'll have it this Friday. That gives you all next week to work on my speech. Or prepare for the tournament, right?
Mamma mia!
Oh man, that's the day after, isn't it? Don't worry, I've got this. I've totally got this. I closed the door with a sigh. Suffice to say, that was not at all how I expected this to go, but then when it came to continue, it never was. I told Mai about the plan that evening, head bobbing from side to side. I don't know how I'm going to tell everyone, though. Isn't that a weird thing to do? I don't want them to feel like the pieces of meat. The more I thought about the date auction, the more I realized it could be harmless, maybe even fun, but I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to get around the knee-jerk reactions of a charity auction. It was squicky. Mai looked up at me from where she was hanging half off my bed. I mean, it is for charity, isn't it? I nodded.
Bingo.
Then trust me, there's something rich people love more than charity. I don't know. Don't worry, I got this. She stood up and moved to the door. What are you doing? Don't worry, you'll be fine. My wait! Mai stuck her head out of our doorway.
Hey, who wants to date boys for charity?
There was a brief silence. Then, what, dating boys? Affirmative. This is a standard high school experience. I'm eager to participate. I held her hands to the clamoring masses and they went quiet. I imagined them staring up at Mai like she's some kind of savior. Little chipmunks. Well, our current president is holding a date auction. He winked. If you ever wanted a chance for your boyfriend to prove his love for you, or maybe that guy you've been ogling in the gym for to casually reciprocate, yes, I'm looking at you, Naomi, then you should all participate. It's only going to make our cavi stronger in the meantime. There was a murmur of assent and Mai smiled.
Bye-bye.
Great, then I'll see y'all on Friday. Spread the word. I shut the door and jumped back onto my bed, a smug smirk on her face.
What?
No, you. Not everything's as big a deal as you seem to think it is, Hana. Just talk to people, throw ideas out there. Something will stick. People are more forgiving than you think they are. It was easier for Mai to say. I was always brash, loud, semi-obnoxious, even if that was what I loved about her. It was easier for her to yell than for me. People would think it was saying something about me, like I said. I picked up my stuffed rabbit and stared at it, tweaking her nose from as if sniffing. But then, I didn't really know that much about her, did I?
Hey.
Hi. Do you have a dream?
What?
What? I know you're going to school here because your parents basically made you, but you have a passion, right? Other than Jared, I mean? Well, yes I do. What is it? Volleyball? Public speaking? Acting? Modeling? Well, you're giving me way too much credit. Well, if I had a chance, I'd want to do two things. First is start up a heavy rock band called The Pardon Mize, where I can play a badass red electric guitar, maybe a bass, and swing my hair over the stage like a total beast. I nodded. I see it. Third thing is, well, I don't know if I could ever really do it, but I always wanted it to be fun to be a writer. Oh yeah? That explains why you're so excited about the letter to the editor.
Seriously?
Why don't you try applying for the school newspaper? You could have a column, certainly you could do it.
What?
What? Me? Oh, no. No, not me, no. I'm not good enough yet. There's no way I could ever do that. I'll keep practicing, and someday when I actually have something to offer, I'll think about it. What?
No!
No, Hana. She whirled on me, figure raised like she was talking to a dog I whipped. Couldn't you be practicing for a tournament or something? I sighed and stood up, knees cracking a bit. Yeah, and I should.
Really?
Were those your legs? My god, Hana, you're like an old man. I chuckled softly and shooed her off my... It was time for me to practice. But as I pulled out my phone, I remembered something Mai did for me a few months ago, back at the start of the year. You should accept. I believed in me and my abilities when I didn't believe in myself. Wasn't there some way I could return the favor? The weekend finally came. I awoke with the fear of God in me and dressed rapidly. I was one of the people managing the event after all. It wouldn't do to show up after the girls who were actually participating. The hallway. It's already filled with the sounds of girls getting ready in the morning. Smells of straightened hair, fruity perfume, floral shampoo drifted aimlessly down the corridor. How on earth were these girls excited about being bet on? There was a very rare case of dating that was 100% condoned by Asagao Academy, but... And there was the idea that they could go on stage and nobody will bid on them. No, I wouldn't do it without tears. I have someone offered to pay.
Hana.
Please, Hana, I'll pay you. I'll do anything. I should have known. I should have seen this coming. There is no way Paul would let this opportunity slip by. No way he wasn't going to make his campaign manager show her support by participating in the actual event. Over my limp and dead body. Come on, what are you afraid of? You're a gorgeous girl. Any guy would be lucky to have you. I shot a glare at him and he changed taps. We need somebody to go first. Let the others know how it's done. And to put the girls at ease. There's no one else I can trust with this responsibility. Oh.
Right?
He turned to Nick and Josh, arms outstretched.
Oh, I know that, friend.
I'm right, aren't I? This is a great idea, isn't it? Nick blushed furiously. I mean, it isn't a bad idea. I heaved a heavy sigh. And how is this supposed to help your campaign, exactly? Publicity, of course. I massaged my temples. There is no way. Let this out. Let me out of it. In fact, I can see him literally smacking me over the head, throwing me on the stage, where I can see him letting me get away. Fine. Fine, I'll do it. He grabbed my hands, pulling them into his chest in that odd, familiar way of his.
Really?
Hana, you angel of angels. If you don't win the campaign after this, I will haunt you to your grave. Doesn't that just mean you follow me around for the rest of your life? I'm more than up for that. Damn it, Paul. Anyway, I sighed and made my way behind the platform booth. It was a slightly chilly day. The sun wasn't out, I expected that to thin the crowds, but my expectations were incorrect. A fair chunk of boys and a handful of incredibly excited girls soon filled the seats, and when 11 o'clock finally hit, Paul took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you from the depths of my heart for attending the first annual Asagao Date Auction, or as it will be henceforth known as ADA. There was a small smattering of applause. Evidently the crowd just wanted him off the stage. As you know, this is a fundraiser for the school. We have a few rules to follow. First, keep it civil. Second, please raise your hand when you're ready to bid. Third, the participant has the right to refuse your company without explanation. So don't go acting like you're genuinely buying people. This is just a volunteer thing. For fun. Do you understand me? A slow grumble floated through the crowd. Do you understand me? When an assortment of affirmations skittered across the crowd. I wasn't sure that truly counted, but Paul seemed satisfied.
Alright.
Well, alright then. First lady of the evening, please take the stage. My heart leaped into my throat. What would my father do if he could see me now? And this is an actual change in music. I'll crank this up a little bit. What would my father do if he could see me now? I pulled back the flimsy curtain and stepped onto the stage, trying with all my heart to maintain my dignity. Paul motioned at me with his hands, indicating that I should walk around the stage and twirl or something. I slowly traced the outline of the stage, performed a few begrudging spins while Paul read a little bio he had obviously prepared the night before. I'm also imagining that it's like that weird twirl dance that Tina from Bob's Burgers does. Hana Mizuno, 16, is currently my campaign manager, a potential Moral Boots Club member. She has a big heart and even bigger mouth when she finds the courage to use it. Friends adore her. Hobbies include reading, drawing, somehow winding up in all sorts of unexpected circumstances. Winner gets to take her to a standard dinner. You're paying, though. He's a classy cat. I shot him a glare, and he chuckled. We'll start the bidding at 1,000 yen. Now came the moment I was most terrified of, the opportunity for utter humiliation. I stood in the center of the stage, hands clasped, eyes towards the floor. Alright, 1,000 yen. Do we have 1,500? Do I see 1,500 yen? 1,500 yen, wonderful. Glanced up in shock, absolutely no idea who would care enough to bid on me. We're gonna turn the music back down to, just say, here. And found Josh with arm raised, gliding across the seats at another man with his arm raised. Nick! Oh god. And we have 2,000 yen. Do we have 4,000 yen?
Whoa!
Oh wow, 4,000 yen. 5,000. 6,000. What I first assumed to be a pity bid soon turned to an all-out bet. The numbers rose and rose, so the audience itself was gasping with each new offering. Nick pulled out his wallet and started counting the coins in it, while Josh started asking people around him to borrow some cash. 10 yen more. Well, I got 55 yen. Wait, I found 80 yen. After several more minutes of counting spare yen coins, the tension somehow never dying, Paul slammed his gavel on the podium. Look, you both win. You can both take her on a date, okay? Just let us live the rest of our lives.
Oh, what the what?
But that's not fair. Too bad. My auction. He pounded the gavel again and gave me a thumbs up. Here's my cue to leave, and I spurred behind the platform for the men's relief. Several girls congratulated me as I dashed through, patting me on the back. Others glared at me. If they had poison, I would have been dead by the end of that day. Crept around the back of the audience and took a seat myself, watching the rest of the auction unfold. Mimi Santos sold for 4,000 yen. Being taken to the beach by a much younger boy, she seemed satisfied. Katsu, on the other hand, was bid on by a few people, really one particularly enthusiastic girl, but eventually bought herself out of the auction. Okay. Good. Good, then. Finally, it was time for the last bit of the day. The audience was restless. Most of them had already gotten their dates, and the sudden return of sun on a Saturday afternoon was making them antsy. Paul held up a hand. I know you're all prepared to leave, but have I got a treat for you? Our final girl is an eccentric, an artist, a genius. Truly, there is nobody with such a caring heart, nobody with the spunk, nobody with the vocal cords quite like her. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, Mai Sasaki. I spit the drink I'd been sipping on to the empty chair in front.
Yahoo!
Hello, world! I swept onto the stage, nothing but her swimsuit. Loud gasp echoed across the audience. Let's start at 5,000 yen, what do you say? She winked at the crowd. I hope you girls put up a fight this time too. As I watched in bewilderment, the numbers racked higher and higher. All hurriedly heaped up with the bids that came floating in, mostly from red-cheeked girls. I had no idea Mai was so popular as a date, but something told me these people had never spoken to her. Mai was an acquired taste after all. And $22,000. Wait, isn't that supposed to be whatever. Going once, going twice. Paul slammed his gavel, then beamed.
Alright.
And we're done. Thank you all so much for your joyous participation and enjoy your dates. As the crowd dispersed, I made my way backstage to find Mai and Paul. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Nick and Josh sulking off together and decided to pop by them first.
Ah!
Can't have the best day with her because I'm going to.
Hey!
Hey! No, I'm gonna have the best day with her, you don't. I like this screenshot. They didn't even notice me behind them to invest in their own stupid argument. Just look at that electricity. It's fucking great. I'm sorry. Guys, come on! Sparks were practically shooting from their eyes. In fact, they actually were. Hey!
Hey!
Oh, hey, Hana. I didn't notice you there. Looks like we're going on a triple date. Yeah, I guess we are. Thank you, for betting on me. I bowed quickly. So, Hana.
See you later.
Alright, I gotta go find Mai. I waved and dashed off before he could say anything else. I found Mai backstage, cackling madly with Paul. You never told me you were going at her with your swimsuit on, too. You didn't ask. Are you going to be okay with it? Yeah, definitely, because I'm not even going.
What?
What? I was hoping Jared to be out here. There. If it's not Jared, then no dice. I stared at her in utter shock. She winked. My mom's not a businesswoman for nothing. By the way, did you like your bio? That was... You were in on that? Oh, Hana, we talked about this. I like to expand your horizons, but you fly like ever so many blue-winged birds into the deepening sunset. This seems like a great way to do that. Your date will be next Thursday, the night before the election. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. I can't believe I'm going to date with Nick and Josh.
Well,
only go if you want to. Paul shrugged, waiting for my answer. I guess it'll be fun. Or at the very least interesting. Then you're going. There you go. His tone was flat and I looked at him in concern. He shrugged again. I've got some cleanup to do and you already helped enough. Just head back inside. Glanced at Mai, wondering where she also noticed Paul's weird vibe, but she simply smiled at me. Let's go back in. I got this new show I want you to see about this enchanted duck. I glanced over at my shoulder as Paul, while he left, will always do, is staring at the microphone cords on the ground completely immobile. Well, Nick and Josh would take care of him, definitely. Next week passed by slowly, grumbling. As the date of the election drew nearer, Paul got more and more irritable. He spent hours drafting his speech, then trying out on us, changing his huge portions of it when he didn't get the reactions he anticipated. Dick and Josh, on the other hand, grew increasingly restless as Thursday neared. Our date, after all, was set for Thursday. So, you ready for the night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. Thanks again for spending on me, I guess. I was worried nobody would. Why on earth would you worry about that? You're a precious person, so... Josh turned red and Nick took over. We'll pick you up this evening, right? I nodded. On the other side of the room, Paul sighed loudly, and obviously knew that we should stop talking. I can see you're very busy, so I think I'm gonna head out early. Nick and Josh waved at me, but Paul leaped to his feet. You're leaving? Is that okay?
well,
led aimlessly around the room. Eventually his eyes found a piece of chalk and he pointed with utmost intensity.
yeah.
You can help me brainstorm.
What?
Brainstorm? Brainstorm what? Audience motivating gestures. Huh. Paul snapped his fingers into the finger guards and clicked his teeth. See? I'm hopeless without you. It looks to me like you've got gestures handled. But... I stepped into the hallway, closing the door behind me, and headed for my door. It wasn't that I didn't want to spend time with Paul, just that, after everything that happened, I wasn't sure I'd be able to handle it. I had to put my feelings and my emotional health first. When the knock came at my door, I was dressed and ready. I glanced at Mai, who nodded slowly and gave me a thumbs up. It was time.
Hey.
Hey guys, ready to rock?
Ah, look at you.
You look great. Sorry about that. I giggled and did a quick twirl. Thanks. We set off across campus, heading again for the Higginbottom Mall. It was weird. The last time I went to the Higginbottom Mall, I believe I was on my first date. My real first date. This time I actually was on my first date. In fact, this probably constituted more of a first date than either of the others. The difference was that this time, I was the one void of romantic intent. I was nervous, especially with my suspicion that Josh and Nick had feelings for me that I didn't reciprocate. Part of me even felt like they knew I didn't have any feelings for them. In that way, this date was more like a conciliatory offering, parting gift, expression of regret on my part. They didn't know I was hung up on Paul, at least I hope they didn't. That would make things awkward for me. No, the best thing to do was to try to relax and have fun. Anna, you okay? I snapped out of my reverie. Josh and Nick were looking at me in that way. That only meant I had a decision to make. What's up? You want Thai or Mexican? Okay. Well, gotta take a quick swig of drink here. Thai, Mexican, or you pick? Well, they probably expect us to make decisions, so saying you pick is probably bad. I'm gonna pick Thai.
Yeah!
Perfect. Nick led us down the hall where we went into a restaurant with colorful fabrics draped from the ceiling. The waitress got her drink orders and was about to leave when Nick tapped her elbow. May I please get some candles? She raised an eyebrow but nodded. The customer was always right. Except when they're fucking wrong, but that's not its point. Josh shot Nick a glare, then cleared his throat. So, Anna, please, tell me more about your interest. He leaned forward, placing his elbows on the table. Say Nick. This, Nick mimicked him. My interest?
Yeah!
Yes, your interests are so fascinating. I'd love to hear you talk about them. Well, I've been busy with the election and the tournament, so I haven't really had time. The tournament? Nick and Josh trade guilty look. Don't tell me you haven't been practicing? We share a dorm with Paul, so of course some things are a bit hectic. Paul's 1/3 of our team anyway. Not much hope for us as long as he's so worked up. Does he always get this bad? Nick huffed. It is a bit weird, I think. He's usually very cool under pressure, but this year he's been all over the place. He has more riding on it this time. That's true, but Paul's always the optimist out of the three of us. When something really bad happens, he always got a game plan. Recently, he's been acting like his actual life is on the line. Waitress came back for our drinks. I sipped my pink lemonade happily and ordered my meal. You'd like an appetizer too, if you don't mind. And a dessert menu, if you would. I'm not sure I'll be able to eat all that. I mean, you can order for yourself, but... Nonsense, don't worry about decorum. I won't judge you for eating a ton. Nick flashed me a thumbs up as Josh ordered 2 separate appetizers and a full cheesecake for dessert. I quailed in my seat. I'd never been pampered like this, if pampered was even the right word. Ugh. My father and I rarely went out to eat, and did was celebrate some accomplishment. Straight A's, my report card, birthday, big sale came to the shop. Oh, quite a few of you here. Welcome. Okay. There it is. I couldn't help but feel guilty spending this much money on food. It was someone else's money to boot. What are you thinking about? I jumped, shaken from my reverie. I almost forgot that they were there, but then they again gazed at me as if I held the answer to all the world's problems. My dad? Ooh. Tell us more about this dad. His name is Takao and I miss him a lot. He's an artist, he makes pottery for a living. A sculptor? Would he have seen any of his works? No, they're local things. I think back when my mom was around, an artist did some sketches of her arrangements. I was told she was really gifted with flowers. Nick nodded. That explains how you came to be. How I... What? The waitress set down 2 plates of smorgasbord and Josh spread his hands like a magi. The joke is that Hana Mizuno literally translates to water lily. That's why Nick said that. Oh, she came. Eat whatever you like, my dear. Thanks, but I'd rather just wait for my meal. Nick shook his head. So modest, so humble. Increasingly uncomfortable, I was relieved when my food arrived and Nick and Josh's odd questions and commentary were put to a stop. All of us were starving, especially since we skipped our regularly scheduled academy dinner. Food was pretty good. I managed to eat about half my plate so I could save the rest for a snack or dinner I missed. When the waitress came to take the plate, she set down a rather large complete cheesecake. At this point, even Nick and Josh realized the error. Slid the check between Nick and Josh, went on her way. Josh grabbed it and dragged it toward her. Of course I will pay for everything tonight. No, I will pay, though. The lady deserves only the best, after all. He pulled the check towards him. But I've already claimed it. Back to Josh. And then to Nick. Then back again. I slipped the last of my check as the check turned to a blur between them. Eventually, they agreed to split the bill and had a lengthy argument about proper tips. You see, it actually does make me wonder about how they tip in Japan. Like, if that even is a thing. Because I know that in China, it's like something to do with tips not being a good thing. Like implying that you're not making it or something. Or something along those lines. Anyway. I scrawled a large 5 and 3 even larger zeros after it. I treat service workers well, because I treat even people who are not close to me like they are valuable human beings. Nick followed suit with the same number. I don't like to brag about how much I tip. I like my actions speak for themselves. It was the most taxing hour I ever experienced. When we finally came back to campus, they both clamored to walk me to my room. Let me, I'll do it.
No!
No, that's not necessary, thank you. But you're a lady, and gentlemen should... That's quite alright, I need to go get something. So please go on without me. But I insist. You guys aren't listening to me. With that one statement of fact, both boys snapped straight. Right. Thank you for showing us on this date, Hana. Yes, I truly appreciate it. But I appreciate it more. Just go! The two jumped and, seeing the look on my face, set off down the walkway at twice the usual speed. I sighed. I liked them both, really did. There was no way I could handle the two of them together, alone, without Paul's help. The wind rustled through the leaves around me, almost sounded like a person walking by. But again, even now I thought of him. I stumbled towards Poppy in the ever-deepening darkness, tired thoughts floating before me like petals. Why Nick and Josh both liked me? I hadn't done anything special for either of them, at least not enough to deserve such intense feelings. It made me uneasy, especially since they couldn't tell I wasn't interested. But that was no reason not to spend time with them as friends, as long as it was awkward and they understood that I didn't reciprocate. These were the thoughts racing through my mind when I heard something clatter onto the ground behind me. I whirled around.
No!
Don't you dare come anywhere near me, I'll kick you 3 ways to China! Oh, Caddy, it's just you. It's Caddy. A trembling Caddy stood in front of me, cradling something shiny in his arms. You okay? You don't look so great. Hana, please don't tell anyone about this. Confused, I drew closer to him. The objects becoming clear as I did. Don't worry, I'm out here at the curfew too, so I would also... I stopped. The objects in Caddy's arms stood out to me in sharp relief. Caddy was holding guns. I stared at him, not daring to move. This might be an artifact of, like, the past, but Caddy was known to do segment on a show where called Salvage or Slaughter, where he had different guns for purposes. And this is a reference to that directly. He doesn't really do that anymore in his modern stuff, but, you know, there. It's really not what it looks like. These are... I use them for... I'm not going to hurt anybody with them. I'll hurt games of these. Games. Yeah, if it's really good, I send it floating up to heaven. If it's absolutely shit, I torture with a laser. If it's not... We have guns, with which you used to shoot video games.
Well...
I know it sounds weird, but it really cements to me that I'm done with it. That we can part ways and both move on with our lives. It's a form of a closure. Look, you don't have to understand, but unless you at least don't report this, I swear, I absolutely swear that I'll not use these on any living creatures, so help me God. I took a slow, deep breath. I'm going to pretend I didn't see anything, okay?
Really?
Really? In the meantime, you're gonna toss those somewhere safe, preferably the Pacific Ocean. Never see him again. You're gonna be in such hot water, you won't even feel your skin peeling off. Got it? That's bloody graphic, Anna. Got it? Right, I got it.
Farewell.
Thanks again, Anna. You won't regret this. I nod happily. How do you wouldn't harm a fly in a person's head? I had no doubts about that, even though guns glowing lamplight were the scariest thing I'd ever seen. I hoped my faith wouldn't go unfulfilled. As I reached the fork between Primrose and Bluebell, I heard other rustling behind me whirled around. Who's there this time? It's Paul. To my immense surprise, Paul stood, body half in, half out of one of Asagao's maker bushes. A styrofoam box, and all that different from mine in his.
Paul.
Paul? It's not what it looks like. I wasn't following you. I just had a sudden hankering for Thai food, that's all.
Well,
I'm off. Busy tomorrow with the election and all. Have a good sleep. Don't get injured. Eat your veggies and all that. Paul jumped back into the hedgerow. Slowly, rustling and trembling, the bushes fade away as Paul headed for Bluebell House. I guess he just really didn't want to get caught? No, it was better not to think too much about it. I had bigger things on my mind. The sun had barely risen that morning, day of the election speeches. Strange closed hastily on my throat. The election speeches would be happening in a theater, which Asagao apparently used as an auditorium. That was a siren. It was a mandatory attendance type thing, and given the early hour of the speeches, so they waited for your class to and feeling only the students who cared most would show up. But then, the students who cared most were our core audience. They were the hardest to sway once they had settled on a candidate. They were the ones who were actually going to bother to vote, whose opinions would be sought when the day came. It was important for Paul to win them to his side, but he was trading on faith. Faith that wasn't so steadfast after last year. As I crept through the stage, Jeff raised a cherry hand toward me. Huh. Ouch. I stepped past him and up to Paul, who was sitting in a chair, head in his hands. I don't know. I tweaked the speech so many times, but I don't know that it's going to make the impact I want. I glanced around. Nick and Josh were nowhere to be found. Seeing my wandering eyes, Paul sighed. I told him to come later. I wanted plants in the audience to laugh at my jokes, just in case. That's not the worst idea you've had. I put a hand on his shoulder and then, after a moment's hesitation, began to massage him like I was pumping up a boxer. Sorry, Drews. I put so much work into this. At this point, if it doesn't work out, there's nothing you can do. It's just how it's supposed to go.
no.
I want to go my way. I peered into his face. There were dark bags under his eyes. It looked like he hadn't slept in a wink. And yet, he used his precious time to eat out last night, then follow me home to the bushes. I chuckled softly. You do everything 100%, don't you? I try. Give everything your best shot. You have no regrets in the end. That's a lot of pressure. Can't you cut yourself some slack? He shook his head fervently, pressed a young. People deserve the best of me. I deserve the best of me too. You don't owe anybody anything. It's not about debt, it's about responsibility. He reached up and put a hand over mine. I froze. He smiled up at me.
Hana!
Thanks, Hana. No, for what? I'm glad that after everything that's happened, I still know I can count on you. I slipped my hands from under his and clamped them behind my back. Yep. People are gonna be coming in a second. Do you want me in the audience, or...? Please, I'd like to mentally prepare myself. I nodded and headed into the audience to find myself a good seat. As I passed, Jeff and Ian paused to watch me go. Their eyes followed me into my seat and I waved happily at them. I definitely deserve it. The room slowly filled with more people than I imagined. I scanned the crowd, noticing girls with their heads buried together, carrying notes on Jeff's and Paul's platforms, boys arguing about who would win a sword fight. I started to think Paul was right. The election was closer than I anticipated. But I have worked harder to help him. We got so little done in that amount of time that I almost want to go back and strip myself for not working harder when I had. In a distant corner, Nick's head bounced around. Josh was in the other corner, arms over the back of the empty chair next to him. No one even bothered to ask him whether they could take it. Finally, it was time for them to deliver their speeches. Halls was first. He took the stage to cheers from the students around him. Gave him a thumbs up and he grinned when he found me in the crowd. Without taking his eyes off me, he pulled out his notes and began to orate. Students, my fellow Asagao students, it is I, your current standing president, Paul Ritchie. The crowd cheered. I smiled at him and he reflexively smiled back. The time has come to choose who is worthy of being your next class president. As might be expected, I'm hoping to have a second term. This is a responsibility you must take very seriously, and I would hope that he wasn't looking away. But why wasn't he looking away from me? Badass leather jacket and a steel-tinted smile. He was just staring at me, dead staring at me from across the room, like a stalker. I remembered the bushes and wondered whether I was more true than I thought. Must rise up and seek justice. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. It was hard to concentrate on his speech, so intense was his gaze, so furiously and passionately was he speaking. I had a dream once. I dreamed of proper funding for club activities, rather than having to depend on our parents or even more of our livelihoods. People call us spoiled, and why should we let them be correct? Even his words weren't reaching me, his feelings were. All sincerity came across everything he did, from the look in his still staring eyes, to the way he flung his arms out, to the fact that he was no longer even using his notes. A loud laugh came from the left of me, and I realized Paul had made his joke. Rippling giggles strode through the audience, and Paul smiled. So I say to you, you'll not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Today, we celebrate our independence from Asagao's frankly horrible club budgeting, fundraising, and exploitative system. Today, we celebrate our financial independence. Paul flung his note cards across the stage with a flourish, and the crowd stood with roaring applause. I jumped up and punched the air. Paul pointed at me and gave me a thumbs up. He nailed it. As he headed backstage, passing Jeff on his way up, his shoulders slumped. The energy left him. His lack of sleep from the night before, probably several nights before, finally caught up with him. I crept down my seat and along the aisle as Jeff took his position on stage, script in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an idea for consideration, Galactic Empire. That opening line almost made me want to stay and listen to the rest of his speech, but Paul needed me. I ducked backstage.
Paul.
Paul Paul was laying flat on the ground, hand over his hat. I ran to his side. Oh my god, Paul, are you okay? Are you sick? Did you overwork yourself? Are you stupid? Paul waved a hand. I'm fine, I'm just processing. He gave a sigh of relief. You did it! You had a great speech! Did I? I don't remember much about it. Did people laugh? They did. Did people clap? A standing ovation.
Oh, sick!
Ah, sick. Paul let out a slow, deep breath. I watched him carefully. Here. I pat my lap. Paul moved his hand. What? You're tired, aren't you? The floor's no place for a nap. I tried to make it sound no nonsense. Having Paul's head on my lap was of absolutely no consequence to me, but the heat in my face told me I didn't succeed. He stared at me for a few seconds, a moment so long I was about ready to turn tail when he scooted across the floor and laid his head in my lap. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you comfortable? A small smile crossed his lips. Very. We stayed like that for a while. I ran my hand gently through his hair, giving him what I hoped was a relaxing scalp massage. Eventually, Paul's breathing was low, and I realized he had fallen asleep. It was nice. But oh my god, my legs cramping. Eventually, thunderous applause rang out on stage. I knew Jeff's speech was over. I nudged Paul awake and he rose, drunk kitten after a nap by the... How long was I out? You're good. Jeff just ended. Class will start soon. Paul nodded, clearly not currently a part of this. Thank you. No problem. Paul grabbed me around the shoulders, pulled me into a hug, burying his face into the side of my neck. You're great. Wait, you're not drunk, are you? Paul sighed contentedly. I gently peeled his hands around me. I have to go to class. And we're not dating, remember? You basically turned me down. I thought it, but I didn't say it. He didn't need more stress, not with the tournament election literally the next 2 days. Part of me was a little upset. Just because he knew I felt that way about him, he thought it was okay to exploit it. He really has the best intentions. You can believe that. He has best intentions. If you believe in that, you'll overcome everything. Mr. Saitona's voice floated across the backstage speakers, and I jumped. Something wrong? No. I stood and dusted off my skirt. Let's get to class then. He nodded sleepily. Let's. No meeting today either. We'll be practicing for the tournament. Finally. I giggled and Paul smiled. I'll see you tomorrow then. He held up a fist to me. Good luck. I awoke the next morning, eyes scratchy and head spinning. I need a good swig of drink. My throat's starting to go. For some reason. Really. Getting there. Apparently the stress of the day before took its toll. I felt almost sick as I put on my uniform and tried to talk myself down. Sorry, folks. Sure, I hadn't prepared at all, but I could still win, right? Strategy as always, right? Ahem. Strategy as always. I stepped out into fresh spring air, taking a deep breath. My event was one of the first, so I had to be there earlier than most. I set my shoulders and started across campus. The arcade at which the tournament was being held was much smaller than I had expected. Felt like I'd find some kind of convention, but instead it's a local arcade full of machines, small rooms split off, which were probably where the eventual competition would take place throughout the day. Few people middle about the space, generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. Glancing at the agenda by hand, made way to one of the back rooms. Going to do a thing here real quick. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. That was terrible. Allergies. When I entered the competition room, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform. Computer projector standing between them. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking by our business. We're also going to turn that music down a hair. For some reason, that music is loud compared to everything else. Ian!
Hey.
About time he showed up, I was starting to worry you died. Last me to be concerned. Is it? Yeah. Huh. I got into the chair next to him. A man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. So I was a member of Root's club. I was much pride, making me sit up straight as I did. There were chairs lined up for people to watch us compete. To my surprise, the entire room soon filled. Searched the crowd to find the guys. There they were. They came to support me. All of them. I smiled, excitement flowing through me, then I was struck with terror. There was nothing like the threat of failing in front of all the people he cared about. Started wordily into the crowd. Blur movement caught my eye. Olid, who we have not seen this entire route, was sitting at the rest of the Hidden Block Club, beaming at me. When he saw me looking, he waved enthusiastically. Ian rolled his eyes.
Really?
Did I kill you to root for your own teammate? I giggled. Finally, the lights around us dimmed and the projector started up. The main menu of Dumb Dude's Revenge on. It was time to start. As the MC began his introduction and explained the rules of the game, Ian turned to me, a smirk on his face. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
You bet I am. Ready to go. The man turned to us. Ian and I nodded. 10, 3, 2, 1, start. The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 more lines of blocks. Ian began working with what I had. I scanned the blocks for playing cards, slipping in one, making combos where I could. I still wasn't advanced enough to plan tons of combos ahead of time, but it could make it much more likely for combos to happen through ability. Things were all but gone from here. Next, some doom started flipping at the top of the screen. Ian must be combo, which meant I had a few seconds before those blocks would fall. I set up a combo on top of the screen and started eliminating the orange blocks below it. Then it happened. 6 combos jumped at me from the top of the screen. My eyes crossed as I stared at it in shock. I just had to move the top block over 1 space. And as quickly as I saw it, it vanished. Blocks looked normal again. You're dead! Ian's blocks fell upon my humble continuum. I slid the combo into place. 2, 3, 4 combo, 5 combo, 6 combo, 7 combo, 8 combo. As Ian's attack burdened the blocks and hovered above mine, I set up several more combos, waiting for him to fall. 10! Legendary. Some new fired out rainbows over Ian's zone, and then blocks. So many blocks. They didn't come in a chunk. Even a torrential downpour all the inside. Sliding from left to right and back again. Ian blinked, his hands and eyes moved frantically over the screen. I wasn't sure he even seen something like that before. I sure had. I continued the combo while this was happening, but at this point there was no need. Ian's screen filled up. He kept trying to make combos till the very end, but game over. That was it. I won. I stared, dumbfounded, at the screen in front of me. Ian's mouth hung open. The room was silent. Then,
Whoa!
yeah, Hana.
Aw, yeah.
I knew you could do it. I glanced up to see the room plotting, all of it, even Hidden Block Club. The announcer was gaping at the screen. I've never seen a score that high. Certain I was right as a tomato, I started climbing down off the platform. Not so fast. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. Brace yourself for his infamous sarcasm. But to my surprise, he laughed.
Hana.
That was a hell of a game, Hana. That's exactly what I want from you. He held a hand in the air. I looked at it in confusion. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Oh! I high-fived him and he clasped my hand and hit. Thanks, Hana. That was fun. He disappeared into the pressing crowd. Through the midst of light. I wiggled my way through all the people, eager to find continue. They weren't usually hard to find, even in a crowded room.
Yeah.
Hana, hell yeah, congratulations! He pulled me into a hug and I blushed furiously, practically throwing him off of me. Sorry. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, girl, you kicked some serious ass! Josh flicked an imaginary chair from his. I've never been prouder. I chuckled. Thanks, you guys. Isn't your event soon? We're up next, actually. You'll watch, won't you? Of course. Paul, Nick, and Josh crossed not to another room of the arcade, but to the main arcade room, where a small crowd gathered around a fighting game. Ready to get your asses kicked? Really, dude? Us?
Oh, I know that, Fred.
There's no way you can beat our teamwork. It just won't happen. And whatever you want about your teamwork, we're like brothers, we're telepathic. Yeah, we'll make something. We'll blow up on you if you have to. His eyes slid to me, and he patted Wally and Jimmy on the shoulders. No, we won't. No, we won't. We're very civilized people here. That's a terrible way to intimidate somebody. The MC took the 6 guys' names on his clipboard and smiled. The tag team beat 'em up is about to start. Who will be playing first? Nick and Wally raised their hands. The MC gestured to the cabinet, and 2 assumed their positions. To switch out, shout tag. You always switch out in real time, so if you make a mistake due to shy communication, that's your own fault. 3 nodded grimly. For all we knew, the result of the tournament would depend on this. Josh and Paul stretched themselves out, then assumed their strategic locations behind Nick. 3, 2, 1, start! I had no idea why he had to shout for the match to start because the player simply selected their characters, but one way or another, the battle commenced. Nick and Wally were well matched in the beginning, each taking small hits and attempting counters that the other immediately deflected. It was a tense battle, both hunched frustratingly close to the screens. I almost couldn't make things out. Dang, Josh! Nick spun for flourish away from the machine. Josh leaped in, dealing a several hit combo who was unprepared for low targeted hits Josh was throwing. After getting half of Void's health was down, Jimmy raised his fist. Tag, I'm going in. He pulled Weed out by the shoulder, who seemed to have forgotten that other people were even waiting to play. Jimmy and Josh went back and forth against each other, each managing to take line combo at some point, but was slow going. Josh was clearly trying to go for environmental kills. Jimmy stayed well away from those locations, making the match something of a stalemate. Josh's health lowered and lowered until finally it seemed just one hit would do him in. The Jimmy lunged. Tag, Paul! Josh spun away from the machine in a graceful pirouette, and Paul leaped into action. He pelted his fist straight at Jimmy's face and released a ferocious combo that Jimmy wasn't able to extract himself from. Tag, Caddy! Caddy jumped onto the machine, pulling himself away from Paul's attacks. They were both on their last leg of life, prowling around each other like very tigers. One miss from either of them meant the match and possibly the tournament. I had no idea how they keeping their cool. So Caddy, never knew you and Ian were such close friends. Lucy and I not friends. Caddy slammed his fists on the arcade cabinet. In that moment of distraction, Paul pulled a swift kick to his ankles. Caddy crumpled like a pop balloon, and the match was won.
Yay!
Oh, Paul, you did it! I ran to hug him, only to find myself squished underneath Nick and Josh, who were hugging him as well. We formed a single 4-human entity, a malformation bobbing up and down in front of the arcade cabinet. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. If you don't mind, please relocate. This is turning into a bit of a traffic jam. With the match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everyone away from machines. Today was free play for tournament players, but not for anybody else, and he seemed keen to get the arcade their money's worth. We peeled ourselves off of each other. So, what do you say we go play some games? I thought you never asked. We probably wouldn't have noticed the MC taking the stage and announced the winner if he hadn't cleared his throat like he had pneumonia. When he was sure he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament is, unsurprisingly, the Normal Boots Club.
Yay!
Yes! I screamed and clapped and we formed on stage. Poor MC didn't know what hit him. As we celebrated, Paul grabbed the microphone. Please, everyone. I am proud to announce the newest edition of Normal Boots Club manager, our lovely campaign manager and most tolerant angel on this face of this woeful earth, Hana Mizuno. Boys cheered as Josh pulled me to the front of the stage. Next, something set something around my shoulders. I looked down to find a brand new Norboots jacket over my standard uniform. It's there. I beamed at Paul, and he gave me a thumbs up and a wink.
Yeah.
Well then, we'll see you all again next year. Paul handed the microphone to the MC, then pulled me, Nick, and Josh next to him. It's great that we won, really it is. Well, our weekend isn't over yet. No, it wasn't. Tomorrow was the day of the actual voting. The election results were decided. Suddenly sobered, we decided to head back to campus for a day of tense attempts at relaxation, one word throbbing through each of our minds. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Considering Asagao is such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little more technological. Instead, students lined up to grab paper ballots and turn them in, ballots that were then tallied and handed to teachers manning the voting booth. I also expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. The votes were tallied up in almost no time, despite Miss Shizuka and Mr. Saitomo chortling at each other like childhood friends. When the ballot was finally done, the result was placed in a sealed envelope given to the standing president right before the auditorium and the voters who stayed for the results. The standing president, meaning Paul. Brim set to his jaw, carefully peered over the envelope open. Our new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. But me! It's me! Paul looked up from the envelope, a smile of pure disbelief lighting his face.
Yeah!
I won! I'm president again! It wasn't much of a formal announcement, but judging from the student reactions, Paul could be given just this once. A cheer rose up from the majority of the students, though a few made faces and sulked. I ran to the stage and into Paul's arms when he pulled me into a deep bear hug. Small popping noises went off above us, confetti sparkling from the ceiling. Yes! We got confetti. We have an ending screenshot. Paul pulled away from me and tucked a stray bit of hair behind me.
Oh no.
Anna, I have a bit of a confession to make. As much as I love honesty, I wasn't being honest to you or myself. I just spent more and more time together, managing the campaign and messing ourselves silly. Found myself drawn to you. Thought it was just a matter of the election that I wanted your skills, your aura. I knew Nick and Josh had a thing for you and I didn't want to step on their toes, so I did everything I could to convince myself my feelings weren't romantic, but I can't do that anymore. I followed you all on your date, because the idea of someone else going on a date with you was driving me insane. And now I can finally admit that maybe it wasn't really the election I wanted to win. Well, I mean it was. Definitely was, but even more than that, I wanted to win your heart.
Paul.
Damn, Paul is a way of words. That's the single cheesiest thing I've ever heard you utter. Really, is it? I swear I've said much worse things. Cheese, like craft style. I'm gonna need some bread to put that on, it's so bad. Paul rolled his eyes. I'm sure you don't like it one bit. Well, I didn't say that. I giggled helplessly, and Paul lifted me into the air, applying a swift kiss on my lips. Now what are you gonna do about it? Blushing furiously, I leaned and kissed him back, right there in front of everybody. Oi, oi, lovebirds, stop it, you're gonna make us all sick. Paul and I untangled ourselves from each other, blushing furiously. What on earth are we gonna do with you two? I swear, that was the most painful thing in the world to watch. You two are so obvious. Obvious? I am not obvious. In any case, Josh slung his arms around Nick and Paul's necks, who slung their arms around mine. Oh, Asiago. Nah, that's a type of cheese. What's funny is that when this game initially came out, a lot of people had like when they did recordings on YouTube and stuff, they had wrote down Asiago Academy in some places. It was hilarious. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's great. And also, you're tuning in for close to the end of this particular episode. Taylor Swift came to her in a football-like huddle. Seems like we're always a four-person team, we just didn't know it. There was a cooking section in this game. Or, at least, there was a chapter in which there was cooking involved. So you're not too far off, I guess. We're glad to have you on, Hana. I mean, the days I spent watching the three of them have fun without me are long gone. Now, I was not only part of Norwood's Club, also part of that. I'm so happy. Oh god, she's crying.
Ah!
What do we do? What do we do?
Ah!
Find some chocolate, find stuffed animal, find anything comforting quick. As the three of them darted around the stage like maniacs, I giggled. It was the start of a great year. The credits started rolling and Paul paused the video.
Well,
What do you guys think? After months of work, the Film Club's first feature-length movie was complete, and the Norwoods Club were the first privileged to see it. Paul, Nick, and Josh stared us down. We shifted uncomfortably. Well, I mean, it's not bad, especially not for a student film.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you put some thought into the cinematography, trying to make it the third character in the story.
all right.
We did. Yeah, you tried. That was other shite. It wasn't that bad though, not for your first work. The three of them seemed to collapse in on themselves. It was as if Shane's words were a black hole, and their souls all matter in the physical universe. You're only going to go up from here. You never made a film before, there's a lot of talent in here. Really, there is. Just look at the God of War trailer on Continue channel. It's somewhere in the deep recesses of their history, but there. Thanks guys, I guess we'll just try harder. By the way, Hana, do you see Mai's latest column in the paper? As Paul, Nick, and Josh started the film club, they had to make some hard decisions. There was no way they'd be able to continue the Continue column while also being in Norwood's Club, running a student council, and making films. When I told them about my secret ambition to be a writer, Paul's eyes lit up.
What?
Another aspiring writer. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Of course, Mai's personality translated particularly well to paper, coming through like a demented foghorn. Unfortunately, this meant people often had a bone to pick with their opinions and analyses. Another siren passes by. Yeah, she said Sonic Zoom actually wasn't that bad of a game. Are you sure she's alright in the head? I could hear Mai shouting, "It is for the greater good! I serve my muse and live only for the truth," without even thinking about it. Honestly, I'm not too sure about that. Well, it was fun showing you guys this, but we're gonna have to get back to the council. Word has it Jeff has some ideas that could improve Asagao, and we don't want to keep him waiting. All wrapped an arm around my waist, and I grinned. Sure. Life at Asagao was never particularly easy, quiet, or calm. But it was, and would always be, fun. Best end. Hell yes. Alright, so the thing that I like about this route is that, well, it is kind of a weird one, honestly, in the sense that you're not necessarily making decisions in terms of romancing Paul, but you're making decisions in terms of gating in certain places and figuring out what sort of information you should share or do on your own, I guess. Really, most of the decisions that mattered were in Chapter 2, where if you made a wrong step, you would probably cause, like, the boys to do something drastic that hurt them. We got through that pretty easily. So, there's that. We also gotten exposed to a couple different songs that we had before here. The Lore Chills, I think the song was called. That was the part that played when we were doing the date auction. Alright. Yes, Christmas Pasta helped with the coding of this game. Backers. Kanye West was a backer. Actually, if I knew how to work in Python, I'd change a couple things for one of the routes, actually. Like I'd change a graph for a certain character. But that's besides the point. Anyway. Mr. Saitomo sat in his desk chair, content silently. Always exciting to be involved in a good story. He pulled out several thick tomes from the bottom of his desk, searching for one in particular. Finally discovering an old, red leather-bound book. He sat on top of his desk and took out a magnifying glass. The book itself was written in extremely fine print. Mr. Saitomo's eyes were not the same as they were. It took him ages to locate the passage he was searching for. When he finished reading it, he sat back, a slight smile on his face. So sad, Momoko. I wish you could see her now. She'll become something great, I know. You'd hardly not with her peculiar talent. I hope you're not angry. She couldn't help it. He sighed, fingering a silver scarf at the edge of his desk. At least, Mops isn't easy to seize. You departed and felt no pain, and you left a great legacy for your daughter to follow. But it's cruel. I suppose main characters' powers have to come from somewhere. It'd be unfair if they were simply born with more fortune than the rest of us. At some point, though, she'll find out. She'll find a picture of herself when she was young, before her hair was pink. Back when her mother was still alive. Before she was a protagonist. He took out a pipe and lit it, dropping a small amount of tobacco inside. I only hope that she does not blame herself. Mother of the protagonist syndrome. Cruel world we live in.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
And that's how we learn how pink hair comes about in this game. Oh then. We have complete continue. Got victorious and extra scene of Mops. We also gained this. There are a couple other CDs we can get, but not yet. I still like this one in particular. And with that, we're gonna leave it here.